I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Good morning, everybody. Well, happy Friday. Yes, Friday to all across the Delaware Valley. Playoffs, man. That's right. The big series in New York. It begins. This is the Anthony Gargano Show, presented by the BetPARKS Sportsbook and Casino app. Downloaded today. Well, it all begins tomorrow night at the Garden, the famous Madison Square Garden. Right there, Penn Station. The Amtrak series begins from 30th Street Station to Penn Station. Sixers and Knicks. And you know what's wild about this whole thing is that the last time these two teams met in the playoffs, you have to go back to 1989. It was Barkley against Ewing. It was a 5-game series. The Knicks wound up winning that series in a sweep, but we're talking 1989, before Charles would get traded to Phoenix, before Charles became the voice of the people. Patrick Ewing and Barkley, 7 years later, would combine and play in Space Jam. That's how long ago it's been for these two teams. It's wild. You talk about a proximity, a 90-minute drive up the turnpike. Less than that on the express train on Amtrak. From right Center City, Philadelphia to Madison Square Garden in Manhattan. And it's a legendary place. Two great basketball cities, right? We've always been the little brother to New York. They've always kind of patted us on the head. They pat us on the head and kind of dismiss us as Philadelphia, but they fear us. They fear us when it comes to sports. Right? You give me all that you want about the Yankees and the Giants, all right, G-Men, all that Rangers, all that stuff, all right? Flush it. They haven't been relevant since 2011. That's the last time the Giants, as the wild card team, made the run and won the Super Bowl. But the Yankees right now, they have to genuflect to the Orioles. I don't care that, it's April and they're in first place. That means nothing. Baltimore's a better team, all right? In football, they're a joke, right? You're worried about the Jets. It's all about Aaron Rodgers, right? And the Giants have been bad forever. Go through it. Go through the litany. The Phillies are better than the Yankees and better than the Mets, all right? Let's go. It matters here. Look, I'll always give them respect. I worked in New York for about 6 years when I was a writer for the New York Post. And I loved it, right? There's something about Manhattan. There's something about New York City and all the boroughs and the bigness and the vastness of it all. It's huge, right? It's big, and it's the financial capital of the world. It's the media capital of the world. It's that kind of monster city. And I love my time there. And truthfully, from a career arc, I probably should have stayed there, right? But the sirens kept calling me home because I love Philadelphia. I love my home, my family and friends. And it's just, I get to raise my children in, the bosom of our Delaware Valley, which we love. So, but this series excites me because when I was up there, I covered a ton of NBA. I would always do the other team. The Knicks were very good at the time. Pat Riley was the coach. He then had give way to Van Gundy. And it was, the Ewing, and it was in the teeth of the 90s. And it was Reggie Miller on Indiana and the legendary, back and forth with Spike Lee. It was Mike coming in. I remember covering the Saturday afternoon at MSG and Jordan going for 63. Like legendary performances, incredible stuff. I remember the melee at the Garden. I think that was another Saturday afternoon game. It was, I remember Van Gundy hanging on to Alonzo Mourning's leg, and he looked like a little puppy dog holding onto his leg, and Zoe shaking him around, whipping him around with his leg. It was a melee, right? It was Oakley, and it was, Alonzo Mourning, and it was the gritty Heat and Riley when he had left against the Knicks, and it was awesome stuff, like great theater. There's something about the theater of that place, of that building. I love arenas and stadiums. I love to travel around and seeing them, experience them, because if you go there, especially to the storied ones, and you close your eyes, you could feel the presence of ghosts. That's real. You close your eyes and you just feel all the greatness that came here. At that floor on Madison Square Garden where they're going to tip off tomorrow night at 6:05, that was the floor where the last time the Knicks won, Earl the Pearl Monroe, Black Jesus, who was from Philadelphia, by the way, led them to that title back in 1973. If you think about this, the Knicks last won in 73. The Sixers last won in 83. 92 seasons since the two of them have won an NBA title. Like, that's all that's going to be there on display in front of all the celebrities, right? Jerry Seinfeld's going to be there, and Larry David, and, Ben Stiller, and you can just know all those guys are all going to be there. They'll probably dig up Madonna, like somebody there, like all those people are going to be there. I remember Madonna sitting courtside in the mid-90s, and there was Spike and the whole thing, and he had just gotten done doing Do the Right Thing, and it was wild, right? It's such a big scene. Now, here's my question, right? Because it's all the lead up, and the lead up is awesome. I'm a hype person. I love pregame. I like pregame better than postgame, right? Because I like to get excited and talk about something that's about to happen. Anticipation is one of the great gifts of life. And so I think about this and the bigness of the series, and I think about the Sixers. And the big question is, do they have the moxie to win the series? Do they have the moxie for the moment? Now, I believe they do. I believe they're going to win this series. I look at it, I think the loss of Julius Randle is very big for the Knicks. And as great as Jalen Brunson, and mind you, the Knicks should have a blue V on their jersey in the front of their chest, since it's Jalen and DiVincenzo and Hart who lead them. But I look at that team and I go, the Sixers are better. I look at, and even with Embiid coming back, and, listen, there's some right to question his physical prowess right now with that knee going into this series. Tim Legler, who will join us coming up, he believes that. I know that. Well, we'll talk about it. They have no answers for the Embiid. None. Zero answers for Joel Embiid. And if they do and swarm and double and triple, then it's on to Maxey. Now, Tyrese admittedly did not play well in the play-in game against Miami. Tyrese, I thought, was sloppy with the basketball. I thought the zone completely befuddled him. When they blitzed and pushed him out. They clearly didn't expect Miami to extend that zone. As soon as they passed half court, you saw them blitz him, right? And you saw them move on that matchup. And that caused some bad passes, some lazy passes, right? That caused some indecision. And that caused them to look pretty awful in that first half. They were awful. And quite frankly, they looked freaked. And they looked a little timid. Whether it was by the moment and afterwards, everybody talked about how there was a Game 7 feel. Yeah, except here's the issue. It was a playing game. And if you can't handle the pressure of a playing game and a zone that you know is coming to fruition, then you ain't getting out of the second round again, right? Like, they need to vanquish whatever feeling that is. And if that means we need to see Nico Batum, and he's not going to shoot like he did against Miami, but I sure love his toughness. I sure love his tenacity. And it's better than the wallflower who shrinks in the moment. And that's the truth of the matter. I love Tobias Harris as a guy, wonderful. But if you're going to be the shrinking violet, you can't play. I'm sorry. I can't have you in those big moments. I need you. The Knicks are going to make it ugly. They're going to swarm. They're going to do whatever they can. All right? He's going to get looks. And if he's not making that shot, I need Kelly Oubre and I need Batum in there. And you saw Nick Nurse not afraid to do that. So it's going to be a fascinating series. I cannot wait for it, man. There's something about that playoff vibe, especially in that story building and coming back to our building where the Wells Fargo will be wild. It'll be freaking out. Like, that's something that teams, and Keith Pompey talked about it, how teams get worried about it. They get freaked by it, that they want to be up early and they don't want to hear that crowd. That's old school home court advantage, and it's here. That's Popping Off, brought to you by Olipop. Find your new Olipop flavors over at Wawa. See? Wawa. Good morning, JP.
Buenos dias, cuz. I love your opening monologue here today because there's not many cities in this country that I despise more than New York. And I absolutely love that we're going to meet them here in the first round with the Knicks. And we talked about, we don't have a lot of playoff history with the Knicks. So I'm loving this. I think we're going to get some great games. We're going to have some memorable playoff history here being built within this first round. I'm excited. Screw New York.
That's it, buddy.
That's it.
I like that.
I love it.
Well, it's true because, like, I mean, the last time we met, you were not born. You weren't even a twinkle, and probably in your parents' eyes. I mean, when you think about 1989.
Oh, my God.
I mean, that's a long time ago. And these are two teams this close, right? We share not only a Northeast corridor, but we share the Atlantic Division, right? Like, we are that close to that city, and yet there's never crossover.
Never. I mean, I think like the last big moment. I mean, you remember TJ McConnell's like last second shot over Carmelo and Joel's going. That's like the last big moment between both of these teams when they played each other.
They just have never been good at the same time.
Never.
Right?
It's finally here.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean, you got to go back. So they played in 89, and before that, they played in 83. The Sixers year, they swept them en route to the title.
Yeah. Luckily, listen, we have our birds who typically do well against the Giants in the playoffs. We had some really fun moments. And then
that's a real rivalry.
Yeah. That
Phillies Mets is a real rivalry.
I mean, Rangers Flyers, I mean, I look at the 2014 series, it's like, oh, God. But in general, I feel like we have their number in the playoffs as a city.
Yes.
As a city.
Flyers got to go way back.
I gotta go.
Way back.
I gotta go dig in YouTube.
You gotta dig in YouTube. And it's funny. The Rangers, like when I was a kid, Flyers Rangers were like death rivalry. It was pretty awesome. They had these. They had this guy. What was his name? Who they would whistle at. It was Duguay, right? Ron Duguay. That's VG. Good job. Ron Duguay and he dated like a supermodel, Carol Alt.
Okay.
I think that was right. I'm not sure, but he dated a supermodel, and he had this long curly hair. And back then, those dudes didn't wear helmets, right? So he had
that's
that long curly hair, and they would whistle at him.
That was the thing. Yeah.
Like they would whistle at him. It was crazy. Like it was nuts.
It is. It is crazy watching like old school hockey, them not wearing helmets.
Oh my
Goalies
God.
wearing just like a thin mask. Like that's insane to me.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like they were nuts. But like it's funny. They were a big hockey town. Like the New York, baseball's number one in New York.
Oh, always.
They loved hockey, right? They loved basketball, right? I mean, the playground legends and all that stuff. Yeah, man. Like, New York loves basketball. They're not as big football. They love football, but they're not like us.
Do you think it's because the teams play in Jersey?
No, I don't think so. They've always, having worked there, they just were always baseball, like baseball. And
a lot of history there too.
And again, what's that?
A lot of history, even like the Giants when the Giants were there.
Well, I mean, you're right. You with Brooklyn Dodgers, like you had, baseball was like born there basically.
Mets came around a little later. So like obviously like I'm enjoying this Knicks and Sixers matchup here, but like me, I'm a 5-for-5er, and I think back to 2021. I don't know if you remember that, but it was Eastern Conference Finals for the Union NYCFC. We had 11 players catch COVID like a week before the Eastern Conference Finals.
I do remember that. Yeah, and I can say that. Wow.
And we could have won that game, but then NYCFC scored like 2 goals in the last 5 minutes, and that still stings to me.
Does it?
So anytime we play New York, I still bring that in my mind. Yeah.
Look at that.
I want to beat New York. I want to beat the Knicks.
Do you feel any rivalry to like if I said to you the biggest Eagles rival?
Okay.
Cowboys or Giants, what do you say?
No, I mean, I still, listen, the way I grew up with the people who taught me about Philly sportsdom, it's the Cowboys. Like the Cowboys will forever be. I get like why my generation hates the Giants. And listen, I hate the Giants in New York, but the Cowboys, you just can't ignore history. And it's always been there with the Birds and the boys.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how that is because I agree with you. But like there is, like the Giants, like if I start naming names, your faces will start to get red.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like when I start giving you the Cheekies and the Eli's, right? Like you start rattling off those names. Like you go, Shockey, Jeremy Shockey. Like guys like, ew, that's right. Ew. Like all that stuff. Like, and this is what's great about this series that's coming up. All right, let me ask you, how do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10, confidence at 10 being through the roof
of the series here?
Yes.
I'm gonna go with the solid 8. I'm gonna go with solid 8. I'm riding on the coattail of Joel Embiid. He's the key factor here in the series. He's the best player on the court for both teams. Obviously, we know he gives us the performance, that big performance. New York can't stop us. There's nothing. Even with the Mitch Robinson, we'll find out what his status will be for tomorrow's game 1. But I love this. I love this for the Sixers.
Now, listen, they're going to try to, do a little bit of what the Heat does. Now, they don't play the zone defensively like Miami, but they're going to try to give you a little bit of that rugged kind of old school. They're going to play right to the whistle to whistle, man. They're playing. They're going to play hard on. They're going to be rugged, and they're going to try to muck it up a little bit. So, that's where my only concern when I look at the Sixers, and we've talked about this, and I love how they're built, and I love the fact that Nick Nurse is the coach, and I do. My only concern really is, can they in this series? Obviously, it's Embiid and his health and his wind. But assuming that's okay and passable, then do they have the stones? Do they have the moxie to step up in that, that light that's beaming down? That's the bright lights, the big stage.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it after the Wednesday night game. I mean, like Nico Batum was the one that stepped up on that day, but other players are going to have to step up. Obviously, Maxey didn't have a good playing game. I expect him to have a couple good games in this first series here.
And the way they are going to play Embiid, because they're going to have to collapse and double on Embiid, they're going to play Embiid, I think, the series is going to fall into Maxey's hands.
Yeah, and I mean,
this is a Maxey series.
Yeah.
Like, we need Maximus.
Yes.
We need Maximus to just dominate. Like, we need him to win. He's got to win you 2 games.
Yeah. And you know what, too?
Like 30, 35 plus.
I like our depth more than New York's as well. I like our bench, what we can put out there compared to New York. And, like, you watch New York play this year, Jalen Brunson, like, he's putting up 30, 40. He had a 60-point game like a month ago. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, if you put the game in the other Knicks hands, the other players' hands on the Knicks, I like our chances there because it's Brunson. It's really what the Knicks have. You have some solid role players, but it's like when we played the Celtics in 2020 in the bubble. They did a good job of just allowing.
I don't want to remember that.
Well, just the game plan.
Twice you brought up COVID.
What, are we bringing back COVID? No. But put the ball,
on, bro.
Put the
Give
game
me
in
like
Jalen Brunson's
stuff.
hand.
No bubbles, right? No viruses.
Conjuring.
All right. No, he worries me. I think he's got the gift.
Yeah.
I think he's got a gift. He can make things happen. You don't even know it. You can conjure good stuff. All right. That's my man, John Zapata, JP. I'm Anthony Gargano. It's the Anthony Gargano Show. Here's what we got in store for you today. So coming up, Tim Legler. He'll be on the phone with us. He's on the set of Get Up. All right. We just talked to him on the set of Get Up. So you're going to hear it. You might not like what you hear. All right. As he breaks this thing down. So make sure you listen and we'll discuss it. Then, of course, the big brain and the daily grind to get you set. We'll geek out onto all the NBA series with the big brain. Then coming up at 10 o'clock, Baldi. That's right, Baldi, to talk draft. And I got to run this whole Belichick scenario by him. I think I'm fascinated by the Belichick story because his clubhouse, the Friday Five, the back in the day moment. That's all coming up. And TV Todd. As always, we love your comments. We want to give you yo's. My man Travis and Jack. I give them a big yo who they're watching. Love those guys. Father and son tandem. Jack's a hell of a baseball player. So, hit us up on the comments. You want a yo for your place of business, what you're doing, for any family, relative, anniversary, birthday. You know what to do. We always want to give you guys some love across the Delaware Valley. This is a Philly thing, right? We're getting this series is all about us. This is where we come together. And when the circle gets close, the circle rises. That's how we roll. JP, take it away.
Absolutely. We're talking a lot about Philly versus New York. And as we all know, buying a home in Philadelphia is much better than buying a home in New York. So we're going to talk about our dear sponsor and our dear friend over here at Mortgage CS. Guys, it is springtime. A lot of people are looking for the market to kind of ease up a little bit. So while you're thinking about that, think about our friends over at Mortgage CS. They're offering refinancing options, including rate and term refinances for rate payment reduction or cash out refinances. Like I mentioned, that spring market is here and it's heating up as we speak. Many clients, especially first-time home buyers, are reaching out as they want to be ready for when the rates drop. Hopefully they are dropping. And what does Mortgage CS actually stand for? It stands for concierge service. It is a white glove service that is based right here in the beautiful city of Philadelphia, and they are available and licensed coast to coast, and they are here to educate and empower you, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, right now with their exceptional customer service, you can see the phone number right. If you're watching live on YouTube, of course, you can see the phone number right here at the bottom left of your screen. That is the CEO of Mortgage CS's phone number, Ben Stucker. That's 267-391-7425.
Ben.
Text him right now. See how he's feeling about that game one tomorrow night. I'm sure he's going to give you a good answer, or you can email ben@mortgagecs.com. Again, that's ben@mortgagecs.com, or you can check it out online, mortgagecs.com/PHLY, and you can get started here today. This advertisement is not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Mortgage CS is an equal housing opportunity mortgage broker. All loans are subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply. Company NMLS ID 1464766. Visit mortgagecs.com for more information.
All right, JP. See that dude right there? That's Ethan.
Ethan's a man.
Ethan was my producer at Fox when I do my Fox. So
Love
he
it.
left and he's doing the big things out in Hollywood, but he's a Philly kid.
Yeah.
And he's back home.
I love
And
it.
and Ethan's got like one of his best buddies getting married. So he's home and he's like, dude, you know what I go for? Primo.
Yeah, Ethan. Love it.
I said, no problem. Because there's something about the taste of a Primo that you just crave. Like, it's such a Philadelphia taste. Like, the one thing we're going to talk about later on today when we get to, Philadelphia versus New York and have some fun with the city stuff and the food thing. But, like, that hoagie that you can get at Primo's, like any of them. Now, I go always more with the Italian hoagies, right? So, because growing up, that's what we had. And I remember going to the delis in New York, and I didn't know. I was like, "Do you got Genoa salami?" They're like, "No." "Do you have prosciutto?" "No." Like, whatever.
The gabagool.
Right. Gabagool. Oh, my God. It's hysterical. But that's, that taste on that seeded roll in 1992 when the first Primos opened on Rittner Street still exists today. And so if you're living in LA and you come home like Ethan, you're like, I got to get my Primo, man. I need to taste it because we do have the best food and we certainly have the best sandwiches. And that's where Primo's comes in. Become a Primo's reward member. Get $2 off all Primo size hoagies every Wednesday. All right. Do yourself a favor. Go to primohoagies.com. Check out one of the 90 locations near you. And then you'll say what I always say. It's not just a hoagie. It's a Primo. There it is. All right. My man, you ready?
Oh.
Now, it's leg day.
Leg day.
So, I warn you, you may not like what you hear. Leg day!
Leg day. Leg day. Leg day. Leg day.
Leg day! Leg day! The great Tim Legler joins us on the eve of Sixers Knicks. Legs, I can't wait for this series. 50,000 feet, what are you thinking?
Can't wait for it either. I got to be honest with you, though, man. I was a little deflated looking at Embiid the other night, man. That was definitely deflating and eye-opening for me. And I'm trying to piece together exactly what that's going to mean in this series. I think we're all waiting to see what that's going to look like because he definitely looked limited and limited in a big way that is going to potentially have a massive impact on this series. I was surprised to see his lack of mobility defensively and his lack of ability really to change ends of the floor. I mean, he still had plays he made in the fourth quarter, but he's so skilled. I just worry about his ability to go up against a Knicks defense that's that physical and hope that he can, get no worse than he is right now physically, and certainly not as it goes on diminish, because I think that would really give the Sixers a difficult time to win that series if Joel Embiid is not better physically than he was the other night. So I'm a little worried about that.
All right, so let's think about the reasons. One, he didn't play Sunday, right? You had the Friday thing, tweaks the knee, comes back. He was grabbing at the shorts early. And, it's weird. When time off for him is almost the worst thing because it takes him. But don't you put a little the last 4 minutes he dominated, right? He makes the three, he has the and one, he has the great pass to Oubre, and he had that big offensive rebound that kept everything alive.
Well, here's what I'll say to you about that. The only one of those plays, though, Anthony, that pointed directly to like how he was looking and feeling physically was the offensive rebound. You're right. That was a big play. He went down there. Jaquez was trying to block him out, and he tossed him aside like a child. He went up amongst three people, grabbed it, went back up, got the end one. I mean, the other plays we're talking about, though, the trail threes and a couple of those passes, the one he made to Oubre, the one he made to Batum, I mean, they didn't really involve him having to do anything physically. That was just being big and skilled, and that's what led to that. So, look, he came through in the fourth quarter, and he made plays, like I said. But I made a joke yesterday. You could put Joel Embiid on the court in a full body cast. He's going to make shots because he's that skilled, and he's big, and he shoots over the top of people. I was more worried about the three things that when he's right, he does that I didn't see a lot of in this game, which is, one, change ends of the floor with, like, with intent. He
Yeah.
didn't do any of that really in the game. Seal people like in the paint and really put him on his back and then just quickly get that ball and plow through people. He did it 1 or 2 times in the game,
Yeah.
but for the most part he didn't. And then for me the biggest one, the lack of defensive mobility. When he's right, he tracks guards to the rim. If they turn the corner on him, like on a when he jumps out on a ball screen and they turn the corner, he'll follow that guy to the rim, and 3 strides he's blocking a shot. Or coming from the opposite side of the lane and meeting some guy that's driving baseline on the opposite side of the court and meet him above the rim, and like those athletic, big, defensive player of the year type plays. Like he did not really look very good to me on that end of the floor, man. So I hope, it sounds to me, and you're there, man. You're in the city. Are you saying to me that people in Philadelphia are thinking like, no, it was just a little bit like it was the time off, everything's fine with Joel? Because I didn't interpret it that way in watching him.
I did. I mean, listen, I saw the same thing you did. We were texting during the game. So he was tugging at his shorts early.
No doubt.
Early, he was tugging at his shorts. So I'm thinking it's more that. Like,
all right.
It's wind. Like, he needs to play for his wind. Like, he gets better when he's playing 3 games in a week. I mean, you see that, right? I mean,
I hope you're right. Because I did not interpret it quite the way you are. There's no doubt some of that. There's no doubt some of that played into it.
Yeah.
Right? There's no doubt about it because you're right. Joel Embiid, certain guys, certain body types, right? And he's a big dude, man. That dude's pushing 300 pounds or 285, whatever he is. You miss some time. And even coming back and then playing a few games and then missing another few days, like that matters when you're trying to get back into shape. I totally get that, right? Guy like Zion, like guys like that are built like that, like it's hard.
Yep.
I saw some of that earlier in the game. I said, well, because he clearly, you're right, bent over fast. He also was fidgeting, I thought, with his brace a lot more than he was in those 5 or 6 games he played when he first came back. So I don't know exactly what that was about. So I'll be honest with you. Listen, I'm not saying, oh man, this dude's a shell of himself. They can't win. What I'm saying is, I need to see it. Then I need to see it like in game 1. I need to see it Saturday night, and then certainly by game 2, he's back to like where you're not questioning his ability to move, because he wasn't moving out there. And I put some of it on conditioning, but I definitely put some of it on that knee not feeling great.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, I worry about, as the series goes, we've seen this from Embiid in the past. It's not like you think that's something that's going to feel better as the series goes, if it's bothering him. The Knicks are going to be physical. They're going to be all over him, man. They're going to make him work. And is that diminished capacity going to increase as the series goes? That's what I worry about, which is why I'm going to talk a lot today on TV about Maxey. Listen, this is what you got a guy like Maxey for, man. Are you ready to climb a rung in that ladder? This is going to be Maxey's chance and Maxey's series to be able to do that, to offset whatever it is that Joel Embiid is limited by, whether it's conditioning or knee or both. Maxey has the ability to provide extra, and we shouldn't challenge that or question that, man, because he's young. He had 3 50-point games this year. He's an all-star. He's capable of it. So that's the guy I'm kind of looking at and saying, okay, you got one start. It's a little bit limited for whatever reason. Well, this is your opportunity, man, especially when Brunson's going to be going at him every trip. So you got to get him back on the other end. I'm really curious to see how Maxey steps up.
Well, I am too. And I got to tell you, listen, we love Tyrese, right? But I was a little disappointed in how he reacted to the zone. Like, you knew what Miami was going to throw at. They were blitzing him, and they kept pushing him back. And his entry passes were lazy. They were not crisp. He looked a little freaked by that zone and how they were blitzing him.
Yeah, listen, that's a very fair point. First of all, I didn't think their spacing, ball placement, player placement against the zone was very good at all in the first half. And it kind of surprised me, because I know Nick Nurse is a great coach. But I'm like, this team's going to play zone. They play more than any team in the league. They did not look prepared for that in the first half. And it was stagnant. The ball wasn't getting to the middle, wasn't getting to the short corner. There was very little dribble drive into the gaps to force a reaction, which is what you have to do against the zone. Like all these things, they didn't do a lot of that. And the one guy that I think really does rely on these man matchups is Maxey, because a big part of his game is like get it and go against one defender where you're not having somebody sitting in your lap when you drive, or when you get a ball screen involved, you're counting on some sort of a mistake made on the switch, or the guard not be able to get over the pick. And now he takes that quickness, man, and he is downhill so fast that he stops if you go under and he'll shoot that 27-footer. You're right. I felt like the zone was almost like inhibiting his style of play a little bit. And as a result, he wasn't horrendous, but he's certainly below standard for Tyrese Maxey. And they survived the game. That's the best thing you can say about it. And I made a joke on the air yesterday, Anthony, that I was going to call the city officials in Philly and maybe even the governor of the state of Pennsylvania, because I want that statue of Nicholas Batum up by the time the Sixers play their first home game in this series. They have to have that statue up. And look, if it's the same size as the Iverson statue they just built, it shouldn't take more than a couple hours to build that statue. Okay? So I need a Nick Batum statue, because he bailed him out. Look, they won the game. Great. But guess what? Maxey's got to be a lot better in this series than he was against Miami.
So how does the Knicks go into the matchup, Legs? What can they expect defensively from New York? And, listen, we know about Brunson. We know about, the Villanova connection. But go into the matchups.
Yeah, man, listen, for me, there's only so much you can do against Embiid. Like nobody's got the personnel to try to play him straight up in any way, unless you see that he just doesn't have the lift, and so he's going to be primarily a jump shooter. Then you can get away with that, but you can't if he looks normal. And if that's the case, everybody's got to come up with a scheme to deal with things. You've seen what happens to teams that tried, like Boston tried that this year. And I mean, it's embarrassing what happens when Embiid gets single coverage against the big. He'll just humiliate you. You can't win the game. So they're going to have to throw people at him. And so the key is going to be, to me, on that end of the floor, I think the key is going to be, can they get enough supplemental three-point shooting? Like they got the other night. Batum, that's a massive night. I think he's 13 times in his career he's made that many threes in a game. That was a signature night for him in a big spot. Collectively, what's it going to take on a nightly basis from the three-point line because of what the traffic Embiid is going to see? It's going to be a major, major, major part of this series. And then the other end of the floor, look, man, I don't necessarily think you get Brunson off his game. He's too strong. He's too smart. His footwork's too good. If anybody could get him off his game, we would have seen it by now. He does the same thing to everybody. He's on that level now. I think he's going to finish fourth in the MVP voting. That's the level player we have. So, look, do the best you can on him. But if you go nuts trying to slow down Jalen Brunson and you overreact to him, they have enough three-point shooting that you're in serious trouble. You got to play those guys somewhat honestly. You can't have a 6-7 made three-point game out of Dante DiVincenzo if you're the Sixers. You can't survive that. You've got Miles McBride, whoever it may be. You can't let these guys have nights where they play like stars. So that's going to be the tricky part for Nick Nurse and the Sixers. How do you deal with Brunson while also not overcompensating to the point where you make other guys great players because they get clean looks?
Now, I mean, let's face it. I mean, they're without Julius Randle. I know you get OG back, but no Julius Randle is a huge loss for them.
Oh, definitely. It's a huge loss. And that's why I said I put some of these onus on Maxey, because I'm looking at it saying, okay, the Sixers clearly have a superstar that's limited in some way, whether it's conditioning or knee, whatever. They've got one star operating at 100%, but they're down an all-star. Well, guess what? There's another one in this game. His name is Tyrese Maxey in this series. And it's like, hey, I describe it this way, Anthony. There's rungs on a ladder in this league, man. When you talk about status, this is the chance for him to climb a couple of rungs. Yeah. Because this isn't having these really splashy nights and 50-point games in a regular season. This is different, man. This is the Knicks. This is a high-intensity, high-pressure series, a big-time defense, and a guy across from you, even though Maxey's not going to be like directly guarding him a ton, a guy across from you that plays the same position, that is one of the best players in the league now. So you have a chance here, man, to like pound that gavel on who you are. And that is what I'm so fascinated to see. Can he dial it up? And I'm not saying you got to go for 35, 40, but you better be as good as you were in the regular season as an average game, and then have probably a couple games in this series where you're like in that 30 to 35, more than capable of doing it. And if he doesn't do it, Sixers could be in trouble.
And let's face it, the stage matters. MSG, celebrities, like this will be a celebrity series. This is the grand stage. Like I covered, I was at the Garden and saw Jordan go for 63, right? Like
Yeah.
I saw Reggie Miller at the Garden and going back and forth with Spike Lee. Like that's a stage that, the Sixers better be ready to take, right?
Right now, you look around the league, and I've said this repeatedly anyway all year. Well, since the Knicks got relevant again, like really over the last year and a half, there's no arena when you watch on television that projects through the screen the environment like the Garden when it's like this. Nothing. And being in it is a whole nother level. But it's so energized. You actually feel it when you're not in the building watching the game. I think more than any other arena in the league, because everybody's standing up around a court and the lower bowl's up the whole time and they're going crazy, like right off the bat. It's 6-4 and they're freaking out. It's a lot. It's a lot. Look, I think Maxey's built for it, man. I've been saying it all year.
Yeah.
Anthony. The thing that I keep saying about him is this is the co-star that Joel Embiid finally has that's not going to be phased by pressure. And I hope he doesn't make a liar out of me.
And we know one thing, his co-star is not Tobias Harris.
Well, that's for sure. I think people, it's a shame, but I think people are starting to come to expect what they saw the other night. So then you start looking around. Batum, the one thing I love about Batum, I've always thought this about him. He always has come off with that demeanor of calm, cool, collected, absolutely unflappable, right? And he showed it the other night, man. But the threes were amazing. That might have been one of the greatest putbacks I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God, it was. Yes.
He was his entire body was under the rim, headed toward out of bounds, and he just reached that long arm back and flipped it up over the front. It was incredible. And he made it seem like, that was no big deal. Might have been the greatest tip-in of his life. And the block on Hero, like the dude was huge for you. And I think look, he's not going to have a lot of 20-point games in this series, but I do think it's important to have a guy that carries himself like that. He's not, and another option, if you don't want to play Tobias, if Tobias looks like he looks, you can go to another spot, same size player, better defender, and a guy that's clearly going to sit out here and I'll knock down these shots in the Garden in a big spot. I don't think anybody right now has the confidence Tobias could do that, so it gives Nick Nurse another option. That's what that pickup meant. That's why I loved it from the second they got him.
Did you feel like early on, especially in the first half, because they had that Game 7 feel that they were wilting? Like it was a little eye-opening.
There's absolutely there's no question about it, man. And you and I both have been in that building. How many times you feel? I was describing to people that haven't been in Wells Fargo, like in a playoff game, what that feels like. There's a lot of anxiety in the building. Okay, the fans. There's a lot, man. They want this more than anything. It's been 41 years. They want this so badly for this franchise. And so as a result, all of that anxiety projects right down to the court. And you can see it affect. I thought beginning of the game, I thought Hield looked tight. I thought he passed up a couple of shots. I thought Oubre looked tight.
Yeah.
Embiid obviously didn't look completely right. Tobias looked tight. Maxey didn't get off to a great start. And I'm going, oh my goodness, man, are these guys that affected by this situation? That's not good going forward. But look, as the game went on, and I think a lot of it had to do with Batum, man. He sort of broke the seal on that basket. And like in the second half, I think it calmed everybody down. And Maxey looked more like himself. And Hield had a contribution. And Embiid played better. I thought Batum, honestly, was an incredibly settling force for the entire team.
Yeah, he really was. So ultimately, you have Sixers moving on? Like, can they beat?
Listen, man, I got
think
news
they
for
win
you.
this thing in 6.
I got news for you. I hate to say it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, man. I have to pick the Knicks in this series now based on what I saw in Embiid.
Ah!
I think I'm going.
Ah!
Hey, I'm going Knicks in 7. Knicks in 7.
Oh,
I'm telling. I think I saw more to Joel Embiid's limitations than it sounds like you did. You think
yes.
it's more conditioning? I think there's something going on with that leg. He didn't feel right. So here we go. Let's see.
Wow.
Look, part of me says I hope I'm wrong. I like to see the Sixers keep playing,
Oh,
but
I know that. Listen, you got to call it the way you see it. That's why we
yeah,
respect you. You're the
but
preeminent NBA analyst.
yeah, I think they're in trouble. I think not they're necessarily in trouble, but I do think this is a long series. These are going to be very close games, man. I feel sorry for Sixers fan base because you're going to have a lot of what you went through against Miami. Like a lot of that is going to be going on in this series. Anxiety in the fourth quarter, and I'm just a little bit worried about Embiid, man. And I really believe Brunson has proven like you can expect him to come through when he needs to.
Oh, but who other than Brunson is going to step Hart? Like who do you see playing Brunson's coach? Like yeah, like that's a big deal. Like how are they going to? Who Brunson is going to beat the Sixers 4 times by himself?
No, I agree with that, man. And well, look, they've been doing it here for a while without Randall. They find ways. It's amazing what they get
Yeah, but it's not
out of the
playoffs.
rest of that group.
It's not even.
And I'll say, I'm gonna tell you this though. I've been saying this about the Knicks all year. It's amazing what can happen to you when you just consistently play harder and outwork your opponent. And that is what they hang their hat on, man. And then they've got a star player that is you really can't affect. There's very few guys in this league that, as top guys, that are not affected. Brunson is one. Jokic, Luka, like LeBron to a certain extent. Other star players, let's just go. Those guys are affected in one way or another. Pressure, scheme, personnel, whatever. Brunson's not. So, look, man, it's gonna be a hell of a series. I got to run and do TV right now.
Yeah.
But I was very concerned at the way Joel Embiid looked the other night. I hope for Philly's sake and for the league's sake, I'm wrong. But that didn't look good to me.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk about it next week, my
For
brother.
sure.
Only 16 slots left in the Tim Legler basketball camp, I heard.
That's it, man. Tim Legler, basketballcamp.com. Get in there. Get in early if you want a spot.
All right. See you, brother.
All right,
Break a leg.
man. You got it. Yep.
That was Legs earlier this morning, right before he went on the set of Get Up. That's when people go, wait a second. He's on Get Up and he's on ESPN and he's on with you. Yeah, because we had taped it right before he went on set about an hour ago. Don't forget, the big story of the day, Sixers-Knicks series begins tomorrow, presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out TrueMark.com/PHLY or stop at your local branch to learn more about the credit union difference at TrueMark Financial today. All right. Well, you got to be kidding me. I know one guy who disagrees with Legs, and this man put his money where his mouth is. The brain.
Brain. Brad the Brain Feinberg.
That's right. Here he is, the brain, the daily grind, brought to you by the BetPARKS Sportsbook Casino app. In case you missed it, brain, Tim Legler picked the Knicks in 7.
Yeah. Well, Anthony, it's interesting because I respect Legs a lot. And the one thing he said, because me and you talked, I think off air, even on air, we talked both, and we did have a disagreement. While we both are picking the Sixers to win, you seem to be, just like Leg said, not that you're wrong, by the way, you could be dead right, but you seem to be more like, the Embiid, you didn't think it was that, you thought it was maybe more his teammates, maybe more conditioning. The player that I saw, and it did scare the you-know-what out of me, was someone that was not the best player in the world that he was for 35 straight games or whatever it was. And I didn't think he was anything even close to that. So I don't know. Maybe it was what you said, conditioning, having some time off, players not getting the ball in the right spots. At the end of the game, you're right, he came up big at the end for sure. But I had the same exact feelings, his legs that, whoa, if this is the Embiid we're going to get, they're not going to win this series. They're not. But I'm banking that that's not the Embiid we're going to get. But if it is, this team has no chance, in my opinion. But again, we'll see.
I mean, again, like there's degrees of everything, right? Like,
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
I'm not inside his body, so I don't know if that
Yeah, of
knee,
course.
maybe that knee, you know, maybe he did aggravate it Friday night, right? Last Friday
Sure,
night,
sure,
and
sure.
whatever, it's a little sore. I don't know. I could just tell you that in bursts, and we saw that 4-minute burst at the end of the game, he was, you know, the best player on the floor in that burst. Now,
Sure.
you're right. You know, like obviously they can't win without him, but you know, if he grabbed 15 rebounds. Like if he plays like he did, just plays like he did against Miami, and I know that Batum saved their bacon, they could still win with that Embiid as long as Maxey is able to score. Because they're going to try. The Knicks are going to swarm Embiid. They're going to try. They're not going to let Embiid just eat them up. So that's where it's up to Maxey that he's going to have to step up, and he's going to have to, you know, he's going to be on the big Madison Square Garden stage. It's going to be on him.
I'm not worried about him, even 1%. He's going to be great. I don't doubt him. I liked what you said about the bias. It actually made me laugh. And you go, that's not his superstar sidekick, is not the bias. But look, to me, Anthony, again, I think at the end of the day, and again, this isn't, we can analyze this. You know, at the end of the day, it actually is pretty simple. If Embiid is healthy, to me, there's no question the Sixers win this. Now, when I say no question, I mean, I don't even, it's not even, to me, you know, it's not even a hard answer. But if Embiid is not right, and again, you're right, Anthony, you're 100% right. You're not him. I'm not him. Only he really knows. He's like, wow,
they're not going to tell you anything. Like,
they're not going to tell you anything.
You
exactly.
You can't go into and say, oh, you know, his knee's a little. You might hear it after the series. Like,
of course.
Truthfully, I don't know. But I could just say in bursts, he looked more winded to me, like, than laboring with the knee. Like, Jimmy clearly was, and we know he has an MCL, right? Yeah. He was clearly limping. When I was watching Embiid, he looked gassed to me. He kept pulling at his shorts, and that he seemed more wind issues than knee issues.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I felt he just wasn't. I don't know. He didn't seem like fluid. Again, maybe I'm overthinking it.
Part of being fluid is, you know, I mean, Maxey didn't play well. Like, so
no question.
And he was like, that zone freaked him out. Listen, if you're going to guard Maxey, what the Sixers need is you guard him straight up because he'll beat anybody off of quickness. But I think the zone, I'll be honest with you, I'm petrified at any kind of zone with Maxey because he doesn't know how to beat it yet.
Yeah, listen, Anthony, very valid point by you. I do have more confidence in Nurse than the coach we had before here. In terms of making the adjustments and perhaps fixing that. And it's funny, and here's where I would have, you know, and I heard Leg say this, and I would love to see you come back at him because he made a comment. He goes, and he was right, but he goes, the Knicks outwork people, and that's their motto, which is very fair and very true. But Anthony, you know what I'm going to say next? In the playoffs, that is not going to work, in my opinion, because that advantage to me inherently disappears. Because in the regular season,
everybody's
maybe you
doing
want
it
it more. Yeah, maybe you want, but in the postseason, everyone's doing it, like
possession by possession. I
completely
agree with that.
And so while he made that comment and it's valid, it's invalid in the playoffs.
Yeah,
it's like, you know,
and by the way, this portion of the program brought to you by Rite Aid. We love our Rite Aid. Visit your local Rite Aid today, riteaid.com. You could say that, and you and I agree. The Knicks, I think he was more trying to say the Knicks are going to ugly it up. Like, that's how they're going to try to win the game.
Again, it's very possible. Kind of like, again, Anthony, look, with the Embiid thing, maybe we're a little bit disagreeing, but in terms of what you said about the Knicks, I feel the exact same way. I'm like, okay, look, and I'm not taking anything away from the team. Brunson, again, I know we said it yesterday on the air, like, I don't remember an NBA player having the level of improvements that he's gone through. Like, he won most improved, then he could have won Most Improved again, then again and again. I mean, he's become a true superstar, which from a guy where he's coming from, I can't give the guy enough respect. But outside of that, Anthony, like you said, I mean, Hart's a nice role player. Nice player. I like him. Like a winning player on a championship team. But DiVincenzo's a good role player. It could be a legit sixth, seventh man on a very good team. These are their second and third best players. I think there gets to be a point where you say this team just isn't as good. And I know they've gotten there because of working harder and taking the regular season at the highest intensity level. But again, I think in a series like this, not that he was even great, because I don't think he is, but Randall at least was a guy that could score. And in a series like this, listen, scoring is going to be important. I mean, that sounds dumb, but it is. There's going to be games that are tight where you need a possession, you need someone to score at the end, and having another guy that can get an offensive rebound like Randall and get a putback or just getting the ball download him, he's a bull. Okay, they don't have that now. And I'm just saying, kind of with the stuff that you wondering.
I agree. That's why I told him, like, Jalen Brunson isn't beating the Sixers 4 times. I'm sorry. I love the kid. He's a great ball player. He became a super, but he's not beating the Sixers 4 times.
We see it the same way. And again, I think this Knicks team is somewhat limited. And again, I give them credit for what they've accomplished. I just don't see it, which is why I bet the Sixers. But again, Anthony, and I'm not trying to be both sides of the fence here, but I guess a little bit I am. I really need to see Embiid, not the Embiid. And again, I hope you're right. It was just a conditioning thing. But there's something in my instincts telling me maybe a little bit more. I hope he's an Embiid. I really, there's something though in my inner, just my gut telling me, like what Leg said, there's something more going on. Pray that I'm wrong. No. Listen, I pray that I'm wrong. But again, if he's healthy, I like the Sixers. If he's not, again, the Sixers team, Anthony, look, let's be honest. Again, on this show, no one's BSing anyone. Sixers record with Embiid was the best in the NBA. Without him, they were brutal.
Oh, no, of course. Listen,
like brutal.
Well, again, Nick Batum isn't going to hit 6 threes. Like that's not going to be an everyday occurrence.
He had a Nick Foles Super Bowl, Nick Batum. That's what you got out of him. And that's why, again, that's what I always say, Anthony, what makes like the great players, every game they're great. Nick Batum's had a really nice career, great career, but never a superstar player. When he goes, what he gets 6 to 7, whatever it was, that's just not, that was one shining moment. Like when CBS used to have
I'm with you. Like that's why there's got to be a Buddy Hield game.
Yeah.
There's got to be a Kelly Oubre game. Like that's kind of, and there even has to be, dare I say, a Tobias Harris. Like,
well, I want to ask you a question.
Maybe not at the end of the game, but maybe at first half. Like Tobias gets you 12 and 6 boards in the first half.
Well, I got to ask you a question, because one thing, and again, and you know better than me this, because you're there, the coaching staff, the general, everyone in the organization, and you have a good pulse on this stuff, which is why I love talking to you. When the Sixers got Buddy Hield, okay, I was like, okay, here again, I'm going to say I watched Buddy Hield play 500 times, no, but I probably watched him play at least 100, and I've watched him play from his days at Oklahoma, to his NBA pro days, and he's played on a bunch of teams, and he's been a good scorer at Sacramento days, Pelicans, now Indiana. Like I thought I knew what he was. I'm like, okay, this guy can come in. He's a legitimate guy who can score, space the floor. He really, to me, he started off playing well that first week he got here, and it seemed like he fell out of favor pretty quickly. Was it defensive things? Like, was it? But it really seemed like he went from I'm not going to even say penthouse, but he went from a house to the outhouse. Okay.
Right, well, he was playing really well. He had the 5 great games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then there's the dramatic dip. Listen, I don't know. I thought he came in. He missed a couple good looks. Made the 1-3, missed a couple. He was 1 for 5. But he also from 3. But he also, I thought, passed the ball well. Like you're going to need him to contribute during this series. All right, so we have a busy sports weekend. What do you got for us? I know you got a ton. Brad'sBestBets.com, Brad'sBestBets.com, at Brad'sBestBets on Twitter. Nobody's like him. So give us your selections.
I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give it a game in the Phillies game today, my friend. Phillies. Well, You may.
You're going to go Crochet the
I'm like,
strikeouts.
well, no. I'm actually going to take Crochet. It was 6.5. I thought that was the right number, but he's been pitching great. I know you know him.
I know
Andy.
you
He's been
like.
pitching really well.
I like. He's got great stuff.
Yeah.
People
He's got
don't
great
know
stuff.
about
He's pitching well. And they made his over under 2.5 runs. I took under 2.5 runs. I figured this. He's a high volume pitcher. He's going to throw a lot of pitches because of the strikeout factor. I'm thinking he only goes 5, max 6 innings, but I'm saying probably 5 and a third, somewhere in that window. Phillies, Anthony, again, I don't think this is long-term going to be like this, but right now they're 22nd in 30 out of 30 teams in runs scored. As you know, they've just, for whatever reason, have not been struggling. Then you get
it's cold again
lefty
today.
out there. Yeah, exactly. I don't think he's going to give up his 3 runs. I just don't.
Yeah, I can
and
see
his turn runs too. I think there's a better chance he doesn't. So that's my first play. And then I'm also going to give out Alec Marsh, Kansas City Royals, not a good pitcher. And I bet him not to get under 15.5 outs. He's gone under this 13 of 19 times, has a tough matchup against Baltimore. Again, he's been going under 2 out of 3. Below. I don't think he gets to the 6th inning. Give me his under. And then NBA, Anthony, was actually tight for me in the NBA. Not much stuff. I only, believe it or not, bet 2 props on the same player. And that was it. It's a very light card for me today in the NBA. Javonte Green, Chicago Bulls. Now at the end of the year, Anthony, DeSumo was out for them. Okay. Yeah. And Javonte Green started getting Bafo minutes. Well, DeSumo came back and got 39 minutes, and Green's minutes shrunk in half. They're still pricing him kind of what he was doing at the end of the year. I took him under 9.5 points and under 6.5 rebounds. Actually, it's 5.5 now, but I still even like under 5.5 rebounds because I think his minutes are going to be closer to 18, 19, and I think it's going to be hard for him to get double-digit points and 6 rebounds in limited minutes like that.
Yeah, I like that. Any series? Like, did you play any series for the weekend?
I did. I'm going to give you some series, and I'll give you some games also, Anthony. I played the Sixers pick'em. I did. I'm gonna choke on that. I just think if Embiid is, if you're even close to right,
you're cashing that ticket.
Yeah, I am cashing that ticket. I feel the same way. Look, Anthony, I didn't understand the Timberwolves Suns price. We didn't talk about this. I don't know if you agree with me. I like the T-Wolves. I think they've been the better team all year. I don't know why they're an underdog. I can't figure it out. I bet them tonight.
It's the KG. It's the superstar thing. I'm telling you. I agree. I think Minnesota's a way better team.
I think so. I think they're a way better. Anthony, I think they're a way better team. I'm taking plus 115. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Give me the Timberwolves in the series. I like it very, very much. I don't understand that. I really, really don't. And I like the Timberwolves again. I laid 1.5 in game 1 tonight. Or not tonight when they in game 1. I think it's tomorrow or the day after. But I took them laying 1.5 at home. I think I have the better team basically in a pick 'em. I think I win that game at least 3 out of 5 times. Thank you very much.
I agree. My brother, have a wonderful weekend, Big Brain. We love you, pal.
Yeah, love you, Anthony. We'll see you guys Monday.
Here he is, the big brain. You like that?
These videos are absolutely hilarious.
Well, VG's
he's a genius.
Yeah, he's insane. He does the leg day is the best. The grunting. The way we got one coming up. If you haven't seen Baldi's yet,
by the way, is that your voice that's like kind of altered in the Baldi one?
Yes, at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait till you see
Baldi.
the Baldi one's started it. It's the greatest because the video roll with it is awesome. This is the Anthony Gargano Show brought to you by the BetPARKS Sportsbook app. So all the stuff that Brad talked about, right? You can find on the BetPARKS Sportsbook app. I love the Sixers too, man. I do. I like him in game 1. I like him for the series. I think the same thing. And I agree with him about Minnesota and the T-Wolves. I think that's a strong play for the series. I think they're better than Phoenix. You can find all that. The way to play the NBA playoffs is with the BetPARKS Sportsbook app. So props, all you want, same game parlays, live in-game. So you're watching a game and you see the Sixers were down early against Miami. You want to jump in and take them at plus money. You could do that stuff. So check out the BetPARKS Sportsbook and Casino app. And while you're watching the game, right, like tomorrow night at halftime, check out the Casino app, right? While you're killing some time, it's a lot of fun. Live dealer play, all your favorite casino games right there on your phone on the app. It's fantastic. Win your first $10 sports bet. You earn $125 in sportsbook bonus. You play for fun. You love to win. You bet. BetPARKS. Download the app. Play along with us. Got to be 21 or older. Please gamble responsibly. You or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. Also, let me tell you about True Fan Travel. Used to be Philly sports trips. All right. You remember my man Vince Rizzuto, Bob Cavanaugh. They created Philly sports trips. Well, now it's True Fan Travel. And the name is awesome because it's all about True Fan. And it started in Philadelphia, where that's who we are, right? There's no one more true than us. So True Fan Travel is the way to make memories. It's the way to check off bucket lists. Like I talked earlier about the Garden and how when I covered the NBA and covered all sports in New York, being at the Garden was something just absolutely special. Like I love arenas and stadiums, and I know a lot of us do. All right. I'm not alone in this stuff. So you can go travel around the country and see these venues with your fans. There's nothing better than being empowered by traveling with your brethren and your fans. It is the best. True Fan Travel. They're taking deposits right now for birds to New Orleans. That's fun. They got some great trips, man, including Brazil, Tampa. So check out truefantravel.com. That's truefantravel.com. Look at all the trips they got, all the tailgates. It's a lot of fun. The Brazil thing is going to be a blast. I know the man, the legend, Baldi will be there. So check out truefantravel.com as we reach the 10 o'clock hour right here on the Anthony Gargano Show, brought to you by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out the TrueMark difference, the credit union difference, TrueMarkCreditUnion.com. So let's go. The man, the myth, the legend, the one, the only, Baldi.
Baldi. Oh, let's talk some football. Baldi. Oh, he likes meats and football.
Oh, Baldi. All right. There it is. He's ready to go.
What's going on, cuz? It's Friday, man. We're getting close. We're getting close. I know the Sixers are rocking and I know the Phillies are rolling, but it's all about football right now. Come on, are we kidding ourselves or what?
I love you. It's the truth. We are now inside a week before Detroit 2024, the draft.
You know, it's funny, cuz I was just thinking about a buddy of mine was running the NFL Network, and he thought it would be a great idea if they took the draft to different cities. And, and I just remember back when it was in Philly, and it just what the Parkway looked like, the city. I don't think any other city that's had it, Nashville, Dallas, all the other cities that have had it, I don't think anything compared to what we saw in Philly that night.
Where were you? Because it was absolutely beautiful, right? Leading, you said it, on the Parkway, leading to the art museum. Like we have a great museum, and it felt like almost like a rock concert, it had that music concert vibe.
Yeah.
Like it was like something monumental, Live Aid. It felt like that. Where were you?
I was at the NFL Network. I think I was in Los Angeles for that.
Right.
So
you weren't in
so
town.
I couldn't even attend. I was so upset. I couldn't attend it. But there I am. There it is. It's like, okay, we've seen these cities show up on Friday night or Thursday night, but they don't come back on Friday, and they definitely don't come back on Saturday. Not the way they did in Philly. You're exactly right. It was like a rock concert, a state fair, a big, huge event. And I don't know, I just think it's great. It's great for the fans. It's great for this league. We'll see what Detroit does. But I was just thinking back to Philly, cuz getting ready for the day.
No, you're spot on. You know what it was too? And you've seen this because of your vast travels. It was almost very European. In Europe, that's how they do things. They'll go get thousands and thousands of people just to watch a soccer match in a communal, like in a piazza.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, you just think about, Hyde Park in London and how that just fills up,
Yeah.
for a rock concert. Or
Yeah.
like I remember going to Wimbledon one year and they just had more people sitting on a hill watching big screen TVs inside. Like pay £10, go sit down. And then I think like Murray or one of the, Brits were playing and like they were just all in. But I've seen so many concerts over in Europe, Springsteen, Billy Joel, and it's the same thing. It's like this. It's this mega event. It's bigger than a concert. And it's just the way that they sort of rally. It's their standing room only. Everybody's on the infield. That was the feel.
Weren't you? And we're going to get to the obviously the particulars of draft. There's a million things I want to get, but I love the Baldi stories. Weren't you a roadie with Bruce?
Yes. Yeah. European tour.
Baldi!
Couple times. European tour. He was doing Copenhagen, Stockholm. He did. We were in Berlin. He did like four shows in like 8 days, including it was his birthday in Copenhagen. And I just said to his manager, Terry McGovern, like, I got to get a picture with Bruce on his birthday. So the Travel Dogs took a picture with him. But what happened was these guys were getting older. I mean, this was in the 90s now, so I can imagine now. But they were getting older. They're like, Baldi, how about if you bring some fun guys and you go out and party in Stockholm and this come back like during, dinner, before the show and just entertain us with some of the stuff. And then we'll give you passes. We were in Milan at San Siro Stadium, Milan. And it was like, how about if you just entertain us with stories about places you've been, people you met and everything. You just got free reign. You got access. Like you're part of us. I'm like, all right, I'll sign up for that. I'll sign up for that deal. I get 5 of the funnest guys I know, including my brother, and we'll go party this up. That's what we did.
That is so. Hey, it's Baldi, right? But that is so cool. What was he like? Was he cool? Like, did he?
I never forget this. I was with Kurt Menefee. We were in Barcelona, and this was a different tour, but this was like his acoustic tour. So I'm sitting there, and we're at we're at the meal, right? They've got a huge buffet, everything set up, all guys in the band and everybody there, and Bruce rolls in, and he's like, so he's got this gravelly voice, he's like, so Terry McGovern's his guy, right? He's his manager, takes care of him, body, everything, right? So it's like, hey, Terry, I'd like about 3 butter rolls and a ginger ale. I'll be good to go tonight. Like that was what he goes. I go 3. So he walks by, goes in his dressing room, whatever. And I look at Terry and I'm like, Terry, he's going to go rock for 4 hours. Going to eat 3 butter rolls and a ginger ale. He goes, Baldi. Like he might have 3 more rolls and another ginger ale and go another 3 hours. Like he's there's nothing like him.
That is awesome. That Bruce Springsteen ate 3 buttered rolls and a ginger ale before the show. Like, that's unbelievable Baldi tales, man. That's so cool.
Yeah.
He's in the new episode. He's in the new season of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
But I got a great photo. I'll never forget this.
Yeah.
I got a great photo. My brother, all the guys, Monty Hunter, all the guys. So it's his birthday in Copenhagen. So we get this. So I say to Terry, look, we're traveling with Bruce. We need one great picture. Not like just, so anyways, he goes, all right, Baldi, I'm going to set it up. Like, he gets into this frame of mind before these concerts. And he's kind of like in his zone. All right. So just don't like try to strike up, these conversations. We'll get the picture taken. No problem. But like, just understand, like his mind is someplace else. I go, okay. So honestly, this van pulls up, and we're at this location right outside the stage, right? Van pulls up, Bruce gets out. Literally, I don't even know if he can walk. Like he's so lethargic, right? And he shows up, and he's very, very cordial, nice. Hey, Baldi, nice to see you guys. Like, if I need bodyguards, I know where to go, whatever.
Yeah.
So he takes this photo, and I'm looking at Terry. I'm like, is he okay? Because like there's nothing that you would expect from the biggest rock star in the world at this time, like of this sort of demeanor. And he goes, just watch. So his opening song in this tour was Redheaded Woman, right? It was he sang the song after his wife, right? So he gets on stage, and I'm telling you, he grabbed the mic, and it was pure electricity. Like whatever we saw at that photo where he's just sort of like he barely can stand up, it changed as much as anybody can change.
Wow.
And for 4 hours, like he gave Copenhagen everything they could get.
That's awesome. And it's, what's so interesting? That it's not unlike a game, right? Like,
No.
you've seen it, like you've done it, like, before a game, you're quite like, and then as soon as, right, it kick off or tip off.
The whistle.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, Brian Dawkins was the transformer. Like he did his thing. But everybody has their way of kind of getting ready for a big event. Michael Jordan could go play golf, and we've heard all the stories. The day of a championship game, no problem. But there's some guys that like they got to lay in their locker room and they got to get their music on, or they got to like get in a meditative state, and they got to do whatever they can to get into the zone where they're not going to feel fatigue. They're not going to feel any like it's just it's very sports performance athletic oriented. And I've heard the same thing. Honestly, I've heard the same thing about NASCAR and Formula One drivers. Like they're so relaxed. They're so relaxed in their cars. They literally, during some of these pit stops, like they just close their eyes because they can't be like this, like just gripped for, the 5 hours or 6 hours or whatever. Like they've got to be as finely tuned as the car. And so it's like I've heard stories and I've been in the pits in Indianapolis and all this stuff. Like drivers are like that too.
That's so interesting. I love that stuff. I love like the mental. One day we should just discuss kind of the mental piece of it, like when you go into it. But I got a bunch of things before we get to draft stuff and Baldi sleepers and meat locker stuff. There was a great story. I don't know, Jeremy Fowler about Belichick, and I'm fascinated by Belichick. And interesting, he said the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Eagles were teams that he would look to next year. Now, what kind of pressure does that put on Nick, on a Sirianni, that, like, listen, if things go sideways again, that's it. Like, you got Belichick sitting there telling you that he would come to Philadelphia. And what kind of fit would that be here?
Well, I think, first of all, there's a very real connection to New England, to Belichick. Even when Chip Kelly came, the Eagles went up to Foxborough and they trained with them and preseason games. And, there's Laurie and Crafts and, like there's a connection. Okay. I think, Coach Belichick has looked at organizations like from the top down. Okay. Like draft process, finances, the whole thing. And he's identified these places. Now, is there pressure on Nick if you win and you take care of business? There's never any pressure. But if the thing goes sideways like it did last year, like then I think that could be very real. I think it'd be a great fit. I think you walk into any locker room and there's instant respect. Now, there's been some hit pieces, and I'm not saying Jeremy Fowler and what he did with Atlanta and Arthur Blank down there, and and Robert Kraft saying this and that. Like I don't know any of that. It's just, but I've seen some hit pieces on Belichick. That look, I can't really speak to that. Like all I know is success, and rarefied success is rare. But I remember when Mike Holmgren left Green Bay, everybody said, "Good riddance. What a bear. What a son of a bitch." All this stuff, and they never won anything after that. He left and went to Cleveland, went to Seattle, wherever. Like sometimes you just need that iron fist. This is the way it's going to be. This is locker room. This is what we need to pull all the oars in the same direction. So, including the owners. These owners get the wrath too. It's not like the coach is the coach, and is he demanding? Yeah. Is it hard to work for him? Oh yeah, it's hard. But you want success at the highest level. There's a price to pay.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, the Cowboys make sense. We thought the Cowboys made a lot of sense this past year, this past offseason. We thought the Cowboys made a lot of sense. So we thought, I think we got Baldi back. You hear us, cuz? look at the finger. He's the greatest. This is what's awesome about. By the way, you see me in two spots. There you go. Let me know when we get him back. That's what's great about the technology. Is that
Some good bloopers.
we got to see Baldi's finger, the big finger tapping. They're trying to do it. It's actually hysterical. Let me know, Andrew, when we have him back, because I want to make sure we get into the draft and stuff. I need to finish the Belichick conversation and what I don't know what happened. We got him. All right,
Yeah.
Here we go. The greatest is
We're good, cuz.
we see. But by the way, fix me, Andrew. There you go. We saw your big finger on the camera. Classic.
Yeah, well,
it was a meat locker moment.
they definitely get in the way sometimes, cuz.
So, but real quick, we thought Dallas. You and I thought Dallas was going to be a fit for Belichick right after this season.
I thought so. I thought there was consideration, especially the way the Cowboys season ended. I mean, it ended in just, another one of these playoff losses where, Green Bay ran them right out of their own gym, and it was just hard to watch.
Yeah.
And so, look, Jerry Jones made a decision to stay the course. We'll find out if it's the right decision with Mike McCarthy. But, I mean, if Bill Belichick is waiting there, you got to at least have the conversation. I don't care. Look, I think there's 10 guys right now that if you really, really wanted to win, you'd make the change right now and you'd put Belichick in. The week to week game planning, the subtle things that he did is what coaching is.
Right.
Did he always have the best roster? And they had the best quarterback. Okay. Did he always have the best roster? Not even close. But they still won. You're down 28-3 to Atlanta. All right. There's Matt Ryan, the MVP of the league, and Julio Jones, and here's his comeback. This stuff is real.
Yeah.
How he manipulated that game at the end when Seattle got the ball and they're driving down to the 1 yard line, and he's already anticipated the play based on a formation, had a goal line defense that he never ran all year. And he called the goal line defense in the moment, and he comes up with the interception.
Yeah.
That stuff is real.
That is real.
That's coaching.
Mm-hmm. No, you're spot on. What kind of does Sirianni feel heat, or it's like, listen, Belichick doesn't matter if it goes sideways, I'm out anyway.
Right. No, I don't know. I think he hears everything, like every coach does. Whether it's listening to you right now or you read the papers or whatever. I mean, they hear it all. But I don't think it puts any more pressure. I mean, the owner was pretty generous, going, okay, let's get rid of the coordinators. Let's change. Let's bring Kellen Moore in. Brian Johnson wasn't ready. Look, Vic was here. We thought we had Vic last year. We took a disciple of his. It didn't work. Let's go free agency. I don't know how much better you can do in free agency. We'll see if they can bring all the pieces together. But, I mean, I don't know that any head coach could get more from Howie and the owner than what he got in the because I feel like some of the stuff they did this offseason was to take some of the stink away from the finish of that season, because it was ugly and it was bad. And it's still confusing. It's just still confusing how a roster that looked so good for the first 3 months could be so bad the last 6 weeks. Anyways, I don't think Nick can look at this thing and go, I can't get any more support than what I've got. And if Belichick's on the outside and, he's got a plane ticket to Philadelphia, I can't ask for anything more from my organization.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. All right, draft. Some of the notable mocks just came out. Brandon Donahue from Sharp Football has the Eagles taken back, trading back to 28 to take Nate Wiggins, who we talked about the other day. He's got a lot of speed. He's a man corner out of Clemson. Peter Schrager from NFL Network. Cooper DeJean, Iowa. Mm-hmm. Do you like any of those?
Yeah, I love Cooper DeJean. I love him. I mean, I think that he's a first-round talent. People were waiting on his medical and his workout once he got healed up from the season. There's a lot of great versatility that you can do with him, but you can also line him up and put him on, a receiver and let him go, press him, whatever Vic wants to do. He wants to run his cover six, whatever they're into. I think he can play it. I think, look, a quarter makes a lot of sense because I know people will point out that Lito Shepherd was the last corner they drafted, but they also haven't had a defense that is bad as what we saw last year either.
Yes.
Sometimes the circumstances dictate what you do. Like they've got to get better at corner. Now, maybe Keely Ringo in his second year becomes a better player, but I don't know. You got a couple of 30-plus-year-old corners. One of them didn't look very good last year or the year before. He's still on the roster, but they've got to upgrade that position. You can't let the ball keep going over their head like it did last year.
You know what is interesting? I was talking to Kevin Nagandi, who'll be hosting the draft, ESPN, and we were talking about the quarterbacks and how this, especially the first round, he said Minnesota, Denver, and the Raiders will have a huge play on how the early part of that draft goes with the trade possibility. That the Chargers, even New England, are all saying, like, hey, if you want to come up and you want to pay a price, we'll trade out.
Well, I hear the same thing. And look, New England could trade out for sure. They have a very depleted roster. But I also believe if the quarterback is there that they love and they know that they feel like he is the future, then they're going to take him. They're not going to trade because they don't want to be picking number 3 again for a quarterback. Like if they get a chance to get him now, they're going to take him now. That's what I believe. But for sure, I mean, look, the Giants are definitely in play for a quarterback. There's no question Minnesota made the trade with Houston 6 weeks ago to get the 23rd pick, to have the ammunition to go up. Like they're dead set in moving up and going to get it. The Raiders could easily do it if it's for the right guy. Because you're like, not all these guys are going to be the right guy. I feel like if Minnesota trades up, the roster that they have, especially at the receiver position, and now that they picked up Aaron Jones as well, and with Kevin O'Connell, like that's a good situation for any of these quarterbacks. You got Sam Darnold for whatever Sam is. There's no pressure to have to play him right away. But if he beats Sam out, he beats Sam out. And I feel like Minnesota is probably in the best position to trade up. Denver doesn't have a lot of assets unless they start mortgaging next year. And then I think they would only do it if it's for a guy, one guy, that might slip or slide or they feel like he can do it. And I feel like the Raiders are in a similar situation. So I feel like Minnesota is definitely like on the move. And look, Arizona would love to, be that team that could trade down. They could still get a receiver. And I'm sure that the board, Monty Ossenfort, the general manager, I'm sure the board has neighbors, Harrison, Odunze, like most of us, pretty close. If you can get one of those and get extra picks on a team that needs defense and needs a lot of players, makes a lot of sense.
Speaking of the receivers, there's something interesting, and I'm curious your take on it. Thomas, who I love. I think he's a terrific receiver. Neighbors gets all the love, but Thomas is really good. If Thomas is there for the Eagles, do you do it?
I mean, I don't like if you're saying, well, we're not going to be able to keep AJ Brown and we better start building for the future. It would be an Eagle move, but you're not going to get with Devontae and AJ out there right now. There's already a problem with some of these guys not getting enough targets. And if you're trying to work in a rookie number 1 draft pick, I don't think the room is going to be real comfortable. I think you have to consider that. I also, have to consider, is there a corner in the second round that can line up and play press man coverage next year?
Yeah.
And after you take, with either 50 or 53, those picks in the second round, like, maybe they feel like there is somebody like that. And if that's the case, then maybe they do something like that. I think there's a particular lineman that they're really in love with, but they don't think there's any chance that they can get him.
Yep.
Sitting at 22. So, like, I think just knowing guys that have worked with Howie, as we speak right now on this Friday morning, 6 days before the start of the draft, they're going through every possible scenario to the point where they wear guys out. But they also will be well prepared if anything should happen, any scenario. Who knows? If Drake May drops and somebody wants to trade, any scenario.
Right, right.
Like I think they want to not just be prepared for themselves, but everything else around them that might affect them.
Now, it was interesting. Somebody brought it up to me about Thomas, and I guess all the AJ, and AJ with social media, you never know what's going on, and the whole nine. But like so good, and he put that in my ear, and I'm like, wow, because I didn't even think about it. Like you, I just go, you got to go corner or O lineman. Like that's kind of where I'm at. I just kind of think it's one or the other. But when they put that in there, I was just curious to see kind of your take. Have you gone in? Is there any like sleeper type guys, like mid-round guys that have caught your eye? Because you have a great discerning eye. I remember you talk about Aaron Jones. You liked Aaron Jones in that draft, and not a lot of people talked about him. You were the one that liked him. He turned out to be a terrific player.
They had this kid from Colorado State, Muhammad Kamara, and honestly, when I watch him, I kind of think I'm looking at a very young Brandon Graham. He's under 6'2", he's 255 pounds, but he's a football player. The way his movement, he makes plays. He makes a lot of plays behind the line of scrimmage. He's a very good pass rusher, but he's just a good football player. Like he rushes inside the way, look, the biggest play in Philadelphia Eagle history is Brandon Graham beating the right guard to get to Tom Brady and getting the ball out of his hands in Super Bowl 52. Like I see those kind of things with him matchup wise. Like that's the guy. But Dadrian Taylor Demerson from Texas Tech, I keep coming back to him. Everybody's looking for safeties.
Yeah.
People don't want to draft safeties in the first round. They want to go to free agency and find guys that can really play. Like Seattle blew out both starting safeties last year. They brought other guys in. Like you almost have to find your safeties in free agency. Cam Curl goes to the Rams from Washington. But, he was a 7th round pick, out of Arkansas. Like he made an immediate impact in Washington. The Rams love him. He's going to start for the Rams next year. 7th round pick out of Arkansas. Like this Dadrian Taylor Demerson, he had 8 interceptions the last 2 years. But when you watch him run, it kind of reminds me, honestly, like I don't want to compare him to Talanoa Hufanga.
Yeah.
But he was a 5th round pick out of USC.
Yeah.
And great tackler, great playmaker, been to the Pro Bowl, got hurt last year, but I watched this kid play and I'm like, I know he can play. It's a question of where are you comfortable taking? 5th round? I feel like that's kind of where he's going to go.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. It's coming. So what's Baldi got on tap for the weekend? You're in Florida, I see. And what are you?
I'm coming back home Sunday. I really want to get locked in. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to happen between now and Thursday night. I'm going to be at the Jets on Thursday night, breaking down their first pick. Whoever, if it's a Dunze, if it's Brock Bowers, if it's Olu Fashanu, like I'm there. They're going to be live, and I'm doing a breakdown on their first pick. Coming, I'll stay up there with the Jets draft, and then Friday I'm heading out to LA. I'm analyzing, Friday's picks, Saturday's picks for the next 3 days out there. So I just want to get comfortable with some of these guys in later rounds that we're going to see, because Saturday goes fast, right?
Yeah.
You're like it just these names fly off the board. You don't even have enough time to really analyze it. But every team wants to know, like, are we finding a steal? Like, for example, there's this kid I was watching the other day from UTEP. Okay, a UTEP minor, Elijah Klein, a 4-year starter, right? Like, incredibly strong kid, but he's got good movement and he's got power. So I cross-checked him with one of the offensive line coaches I really like in this league, and I just ran his name by him. He's a guard. He's played every position, though. He's played both tackles and he's played both guard positions. So he's very versatile. But I feel like he's a right or left guard. But I feel like the 5th round is a sweet spot for him. And you just think about, like, that's where you can get starting guards.
Yeah.
Elijah Klein, you could find a starting guard.
I love
I
it.
believe he could start in this business.
the Baldi Sleepers. I'll be over Monday. All right. And
I'll be there all day, cuz. I'll be over there all day.
I'll be over
Yeah.
Monday. And then we'll hang out. Maybe go back and get some. I'll bring some steaks for you.
Yeah, well, we could do that. We could do the steaks on Monday, but we can sit there and grind for a bunch of
Let's
hours.
do it.
Look at some of these kids.
Yeah, I would love that. That'd be
Anything
fun.
that's coming across like I love when people throw names across my radar.
Yeah, I'm
and
gonna. I got a bunch of names that we'll sit down and we'll do it this way, and we'll bring it up on the show next week because I got a bunch of notes that I got from people that I want to run by you. So we'll do it.
Yeah, let's do it,
my
cuz.
brother. Have a great weekend. Safe trip home. We love you, Baldi.
All right, man. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you next week, bud.
There he is, the greatest. He's the best, man. Those Bruce Springsteen stories. Come on, where are you getting that stuff from? He's such a great character. All right, coming up, back to Sixers, Knicks, Cousins Clubhouse TV, Todd as well. But we can't wait for this series, Sixers, Knicks. Oh my! Anthony Gargano show continues right after this. Clubhouse, JP, VG. Joining us, we'll get into a Sixers Knicks. I got the Friday Five, which will be a lot of fun. All Sixers Knicks related, New York related. We'll have some fun on that. All kinds of things. TV Todd, a little overtime, I'm sure we'll go because we're already going overtime. I can see it. First, let me tell you about TrueMark Financial Credit Union. See, I didn't know about the credit union. I really had no idea about it and all the benefits. And I start to look into it, and I'm like, wow, man, these incredible benefits, man. Like different. There's a lot of things that the credit union offers that I didn't even know that banks didn't have. TrueMark Financial Credit Union, man. By the way, you become part owner with a credit union. And that means profits come back to you instead of going to shareholders. You'll get better rates, lower fees, a better return on savings, more flexible options with all the same digital tools and all the tech, like the banking tech, right, you get with a credit union. And all that's important to us, whether it's like from Apple Pay to all your things that you need. TrueMark, what I love is local roots, right here, headquartered in Fort Washington. 24 branches across the Philadelphia area. They serve our community and our people right here at home. And look, becoming a member of a credit union, got, again, benefits that you never thought of. Head over to truemark.com/PHLY. You can learn more or to find a branch near you. That's truemark.com/PHLY, federally insured by the NCUA. JP, take it away.
That's right, guys. Listen, we're gearing up for the weekend. We got some playoffs. We got some Phils as well. I know some people may be looking what to mix with their Bombay, what to wash down their Primo Hoagie. Well, let me give you an option here. What about Olipop? All right, we're going to talk a little bit about Olipop here today because it's fantastic, it's tasty, and it's
I got my
healthier.
gin and Olipop.
There you go, cuz. Olipop, let me tell you a little bit about it. It's the world's first functional soda with a classic soda taste and the benefits of plant-based fiber, prebiotics, and other botanical ingredients to support some good gut health, guys. Olipop is a new kind of soda with only 2 to 5 grams of sugar and 9 grams of fiber per can. And the best part about it is that they are available in almost 30,000 retailers nationwide, including their most recent launch in here in Wawa, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. You see the cup right here with Cuz. They are available in Wawa. You can get it with your cup of coffee now for your lunchtime benefits there. And, of course, they're also available in Wegmans, Sprouts. They are also available online at drinkolipop.com and Amazon. So make sure right now, guys, if you want to take advantage of a great deal, we have a promo code here for you. You see it on the screen right now, PHLY20. You'll get 20% off your next Olipop order on drinkolipop.com or on Amazon. But like I mentioned, available Wawa, Target, Sprouts, Wegmans, ShopRite, and GoPuff. So check it out this weekend, guys. Thank you to our friends over at Olipop.
Thank you, JP. This portion of the program is brought to you by BetPARKS and the BetPARKS Sportsbook Casino app. So, all right, let's get into it. Sixers, Knicks. I can't wait.
So excited. So
I
excited.
don't like being touched.
You can touch me. I love this time of year, dude. I hate everything about New York City.
You do. Like, how about it, JP? We come in this morning, and VG all of a sudden is just like, bleep New York. I hate New York.
If I'm ever going to curse, it's going to be this episode.
Yeah.
Like, this is a blessing. You have relatives, you have friends, you have coworkers that you can just tell them, listen, I told my coworkers, we talk about work, no chit chat, no nonsense. We're enemies for the next 7 to 10 days. And I love it. It's like a blessing because New York is just full of rats. The people there suck.
Literally and figuratively.
It is.
No, it's rat infested, man.
It's Rat City.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely. You always see them, like, and I love it because they're all outside of cafes, and the rats are coming up and they're catching them and things.
Videos of rats running around like giant 2 pieces of pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
They literally look like Splinter out there.
Yeah,
Master Splinter.
Yes.
Yeah, they do.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh man.
All right. Here's your Friday 5. Are you ready?
Excited.
All right. Friday 5. Give me, I'll start with you, JP. 5 things you hate about New York.
All right, well, I'm going to go with the obvious one, the sports teams, right?
Right.
So we're knocking the Giants, the Knicks, the Yankees, the Mets, obviously,
Yankees.
Rangers, Islanders.
Yankees.
We'll add the Red Bull and NYCFC to that as well. We're also going to go with the chopped cheese. I've never had it, but their wannabe cheesesteak. What is that in New York?
Well, first of all,
nobody wants that.
I don't understand this chopped cheese, right?
I never even heard of it
think I
until
want to.
yesterday in the chat room.
No, it's unbelievable. Chopped cheese. First of all, it's a complete ripoff of a cheesesteak.
For sure.
All right, like you really got to rip us off, and it's a gross ripoff. It's chopped hamburger meat with onions and ketchup and whatever.
Well, I think they do like a hoagie style too, because I think they add like lettuce and tomatoes, if I'm not mistaken.
First of all, that's gross.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And you eat a burger, you don't want just ground. First of all, ground beef, then you could put it in a taco. But you're not the chopped cheese. That's a fugazi. It's trying to rip off a cheesesteak.
Yeah, I don't even want to know
Terrible
what that
name,
is.
too. Chopped cheese.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, so we're also going to
Farm.
go with the lack of parking. Every time you go to New York, it's like takes
dude.
like 12 hours to find a
And
parking
if you
spot.
find a lot, it
It's like
costs you
$130.
Oh, yeah, $100
It's
for an hour,
unbelievable.
please.
I'll never forget. It was in the 90s, right? I went to the park, and it was like, oh my God, they're charging $40. Now it's $140.
Yeah, no, that's terrible. I hate the pretentious personality they have. Like, oh, I'm from New York. Like I hate that too.
Yep.
And then last but not least, of course, close to me is Colombians. So obviously, listen,
Colombians.
you know, I'm a very proud Colombian.
Yes.
So the way Colombian immigration worked in the 90s, if you were from Cali, where my family's from, you went to New York, you're from Medellin, you go to Miami. These Colombians in Queens, they just don't leave New York, and they took on the New York personality. They lost that.
Quick, dude, in the show Narcos, right? There's a great scene
In season 3.
Yes,
We talked about it. Yeah.
Where
the Dominican salon barbershop, and then he has the gun under his little smock.
Yes, and he's from Cali.
He's from Cali. Yeah,
He's a Cali.
Yeah. So all of them went to New York.
He was cool, that dude. And he's there. He's getting his hair done, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, "Dude, this is a great scene." And it's Narcos. It's season 3, and he's got the smock on there. And the guy goes, "Listen, I'm going to count down," right? And they're count down in Spanish, and he starts counting down.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, that was a great scene, man.
And I always thank my
love that
dad.
show.
Thank you, Juan Pablo Zapata, for coming to Philadelphia and not New York. I thank you every single freaking day. Imagine me being in New York.
No, we're lucky they moved you down here.
All right. VG, this will be easy for you. 5 things you
I
hate.
could go 30. Number 1, the smell. It just smells like
that's a good one.
trash up there. I can't stand it. As soon as you walk
You're
out
not
of the
wrong.
bus or out of
Yeah.
the train station, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, there's no sunlight. The buildings are so high,
Yeah.
there's no sunlight. So it feels it stinks and it feels miserable. JP touched on this too, the people. They're just too cool for school because they live in New York City, and they're not that cool.
from New York.
Like,
No.
they're not.
Well, here's the thing: is that you get somebody from like Iowa that
Yeah,
moves
yeah.
to New York, and all of a sudden they're in New York,
Yeah.
right? Like
Knicks
they-
jersey
but
on.
in the true soul, right? Like they're from Iowa, so they're not cool,
Harry from Montana trying to teach you how to fold the pizza. Like, what the hell's going on?
right? Like, come on, dude. Like you grew up in wherever, Paducah, Kentucky, and now you've been in New York for 3 weeks, and you're acting like you're in New York.
Come on.
Yeah, everyone they're all dressed in all black like they work at an art gallery, man.
Yeah.
Get out of here with that stuff. The rent, and this is important.
God.
The rent sucks so bad in New York, it's ruining parts of Philadelphia
Yes.
because they're all moving
Yes.
down here for
Yes.
cheaper
Yes.
rent.
Yes.
They gotta
Very
lower
true.
the damn rent up there to
Yes.
keep these scoundrels out of here.
Yes.
Just go on to
Yes.
Delaware Ave right now and Spring Garden, all that development. Those are all New Yorkers
There's all
bringing
New York
that down
license
here.
plates everywhere.
Yeah. I'm going to be there tomorrow.
New
in
York?
the city. Yeah.
For what?
So my buddy's wife wanted to do medieval times for her birthday. So we're going up there. I guess it's in North Jersey or whatnot.
You got to
and then
be
we're gonna
sistered out, Andrew.
I know. And then we're going to go into the city to go to some bars and stuff like that. I'm dreading it. I was like, first off, if I have to drive there.
Dude, what? It's game 1. You're going to
Enemy
what?
territory.
I know.
Wait,
I'm
where
all
are
my
you
60s
going?
Stuff. I'm going to New York City.
No, but where are you going before?
Medieval times.
They eat those
It's at
drumsticks,
like 2
turkey
p.m.
drumsticks.
I have it all planned out. It's at 2 p.m. Medieval times.
As long as he
Where are you
watches.
going to
I
go?
get in
Where
the
are you going to
city,
go
I'm gonna
drink
wear
some
my-
grog?
Big mutton in hand, a big beer. You know, it's gonna be a good time.
He's got to joust before the game.
Bro, man, it's
Because we're-
Are you going to be back in home territory game time, or are you watching the game up there?
I'm going to be there for the game.
Oh.
But I'm going to rap. I'm going to rap. Don't worry.
No, I know you.
But, like,
Listen,
any
I have no.
territory-
First of all, I have no concerns about you. And by the way, let me laud you again on the air because with Legs, we were trying to figure out about Legs. He's busy schedule because he's all over the place now. So Legs texts me early and says, "Dude, we could tape something. Can you get in?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I just got to make sure." So I text Andrew. He busts his ass to get up here so we can get the Legs piece.
Yeah, nice
And
work, Andrew.
Thank you.
So good
Thank
job.
you. Thank you.
And Legs had to go pick the Knicks too. I don't get that.
Because we also need like a spy up there too to give us the
No, I know, but the medieval thing. Come on, bro.
See, I get it because like I know like this is something your girlfriend wanted to do,
I know, but
so
dude,
I relate to that.
Yeah,
That's my
listen,
best
we
buddy's
all,
wife.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
listen, we're all, you have the significant other. That's why I have TV Todd, right? Like he's going to give us something to watch after the game. Give me this. What do we do better in Philadelphia than New York?
I went a little creative here, and I'm going to say my hipsters in Fishtown. We got the better hipsters here than New York.
More fashionable, better facial hair.
Yeah, they're better than
Amen.
the Brooklynites. Yeah, give me the Fishtown hipster over the
all
Brooklyn
about that.
hipster.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. All right.
This is a no-brainer. Mascots. Philly Fanatic. Gritty. What do they got? Mr. Met of baseball
dude,
with,
that's
with
really
a body. They got a
good.
body on a baseball. That's their
really
mascot.
good.
Like, come on. This is the creative center of America with all these artistic people up there. They give us a baseball that walks.
Oh, yeah, fire
Get
me
out
up.
of here with that.
Yeah, baseball with little legs. Yeah, no,
that's Mr. Met.
You're at the big head.
Yeah,
no.
get out of
You
here
want
with that.
and you want to take a bat to Mr. Met.
Yeah, yes. It's set up for that. That giant, it looks like a giant fastball coming right at you.
Let me tell you something too. And this is something that did you even get through your 5 things you hate?
Yeah.
What else did you have?
Broadway, just because there's so many damn musicals, and I get pressure to go see musicals because of these Broadway musicals.
Because, by the way, I freaking hate musicals.
Yeah,
Me
all right?
too.
Like, I'm
Me
a
too.
story guy. I'm a words guy, right? I want to, give me your dialogue. Give me your story.
I'm
Don't
right there with
sing
you.
it.
I don't need to sing. I gotta go.
I'm going to the store.
Yeah, I gotta go to the
I'm going
bathroom
to the
today.
store.
Get out of
I'm
here
going to
with
the
this.
store.
I'm so glad you guys brought
And
this
it's
up.
and it's how did that become a thing too? That's so like there's that octave that's so freaking annoying.
Oh, you'll appreciate this story. I had to go see the Book of Mormon like 5 years ago.
Great show. Great show.
It was not bad, but I really wanted to watch Napoli versus Milan, the soccer game. So I had my phone like right here as I'm watching it. So because that's just how I'm not big on musicals
I
either.
hate that.
So I was like,
this
this is a big soccer game. I wanted to watch this.
I love plays. I'm not going to front. I'll see a play any day of the week, but I hate musicals.
You're lucky you didn't get caught. That could have been an ad lib. Look at this man watching a game on his phone. Nah,
That's good.
Out of here with the musicals.
I agree.
Yeah, that's my 5.
All right. The other thing too that you brought up that is worth saying. Listen, New York pizza is very good, but they act like pizza is not like made anywhere else.
Yeah, you can't get a good pizza out
Like,
of
what are you
here.
kidding me?
We go to Detroit, get an okay pizza. Chicago, get a pizza. Philly,
Yeah.
I got pizza.
Boston,
Well,
like
throughout
that.
the Northeast
Actually,
America.
To me, the best pizza actually at Connecticut
Yeah.
pizza's good.
Oh,
Boston,
Mystic
New
Pizza.
Haven.
the Detroit, the pan pizza's all right.
I'm
It's
okay with it
overrated.
now and then.
Detroit.
It's all right.
Don't they do the sauce on top? Isn't that like a Detroit
Is it
thing?
Chicago? I thought that was Chicago.
There's some places in Philly that do that pretty
deep
well.
dish don't do that.
So I haven't
Stogie
had the
Joe's and
Yeah.
Santucci's do that well down here.
I haven't had the Chicago one. I heard it's like more of like a casserole.
It is no, that's overrated. That pizza. Listen, once a year, like just as something different, but it's not like you can't eat that pizza like we eat pizza.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I get that.
By the way, Philadelphia pizza's good pizza. Like,
it's
why-
good.
Great pizza.
Like, give me a break.
Put up your boy Danny and Angelo's.
Yeah, I mean, stop. It's a good pizza. Like, like don't act like New York. Listen, it's good, but don't act like it's the only pizza. Like, stop.
Right.
All right, I agree. All right, give me better. Give me celebrities? Let's go. How do you feel? Rapid fire. New York celebrities versus Philadelphia celebrities.
Out on the New York celebrities. I can't wait to see them all looking mystified and disappointed and upset when Embiid goes crazy. And Jon Stewart, Larry David, Billy Crystal, all of them. I don't want Katie Holmes. Who else is up there? I mean,
Well,
I'm
you'll
out
see
on all of them.
Spike.
Spike, I respect. I dig Spike. You know, I
You
don't
think
mind.
he's a real? He's
I
a
like
true
to see
fan?
him needling. I like to see him on the
Yeah.
sideline.
No, he's a
needling.
true.
Yeah.
Listen, the reason why you say that is because he's a true fan. Like he's a legit.
He's
fan.
there all the
We're gonna
time.
have a lot of
man.
celebrities in Game 1 tomorrow.
No, it's going to be
Courtside seats are
But,
going
can
for
I
like
say-
14 G's.
like I know, no, that's what's always ridiculous. Do you like any New York celebrities?
Not really. I mean, what is a New
Oh,
York celebrity?
Larry
Because like
David
it's just
and
like
Jerry.
Billy
Jerry's
Jerry
cool.
Seinfeld. I like.
Jerry's cool.
Seinfeld.
Jerry's a true sports fan.
He's hilarious.
No, but forget about it. But he's actually like I judge the celebrity. Like, are you
Okay.
a true
I
sports
didn't know
fan?
this. Okay.
Like, otherwise, don't talk about sports.
You big Knicks guy?
So he's a true, he's a big time sports fan. Larry Davis is the same thing. One of the episodes he talked about it. He's like, actually, the only time I care is when the Giants were like won or like he was like talking about like I respected that.
Yeah. Okay, I have to. I'd be remiss if I didn't say Billy Joel.
Adam Sandler.
I hate
Yeah.
Billy Joel's
And,
music.
Kevin
I
James
wish I
still
could
is a big one.
never listen to another Billy Joel song again.
Agree.
I'm out on Billy Joel.
You know what's funny though? You could make the case that the Philadelphia celebrity right now has eclipsed New York celebrities.
Let's hear it.
But if you look at who would be wearing Sixers colors? And you go Coop, right?
Little Dicky?
Yeah.
Little Dicky?
Sure.
Right?
Little Dicky?
You go.
He's a big Sixers guy.
You Teller, Miles Teller,
Yeah, Miles
terrific.
Teller.
Like true blue. Both Bradley Cooper and Miles Teller are true blue Sixers.
Yeah.
Where you at with the Kevin Harts?
I was about to bring up Kevin Hart.
Questlove.
Questlove's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legit.
Hell yeah.
Will
Kevin
Smith?
Hart, I'm on the fence with. Like
I lost me a little bit.
I feel like he could be Fugazi at times.
Yeah. I don't
Oh,
know.
how
I
about
guess
the
I don't know if I
documentary?
trust him.
They caught him in a Cowboys t-shirt as a kid.
Yeah, see, I don't know if I trust him.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
And I hate to say it, but like Taylor Swift's wearing Sixers
Yeah, I mean, why you hate to say it?
No, but I'm saying it's, nothing doesn't get bigger than her.
No.
Mill.
Like, what are you going to do, dig up Madonna?
Taylor Swift, you stick with the music row. We got Jill Scott,
Yeah.
Lil Uzi Vert,
Yeah.
Tierra Whack. I mean, we got some people out there that are
I
legit.
think Philadelphia eclipsed New York.
Yeah, for sure. I think so.
Right?
I mean, especially music-wise, for sure.
Yeah, I'm
They
with
had their
you.
day back in the day with like Public Enemy, the Ramones, but
Yeah.
Philly
Yeah,
music
yeah, yeah.
with war on drugs and stuff right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Philly's killing
Great band.
it.
All right, I need you guys to summon something of good luck.
Okay.
All right, we were a big believer in the universe. So let's summon something of good luck. What do you got?
Well, I'm going to stick with Wednesday's narrative. The Nugs. Give me the Nugs.
The chicken!
The chicken
Chicken.
nuggets.
Chicken.
Hell yeah.
The chicken!
Nug it up.
Yeah, I like the nugs. All right. What are you going to summon? Something
Now,
of good luck.
you have the ability to summon this person that I think could be of substantial good luck this series.
Who?
Mr. Jay Wright.
Dude, I love that.
That's
You know, he knows what makes these guys tick. He's met them at like 18 years old. Jay should be
that's
hanging
the bell
around.
ringer game 3.
Three of
Yes, Jay should be wearing some Sixers gear around the building when they're in town. Jay Wright is my lucky
them. I
charm.
got to try to see if Jay's around.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that'd
yeah.
be great.
I love Jay.
Jay's
Do
a
they get
man.
him to ring the bell?
Yeah, game 3.
That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. Jay rings the bell.
Yeah.
Make it happen, Sixers. Make it happen.
That's great. Oh my God, that
That'd
would
be
be
awesome.
amazing. All right, in honor of the chicken, you get to do 3. I need you to rank your 3 best fast food joints.
Okay.
This is in honor of the chicken from the other night that spurred the crowd on, that got the Sixers onto a run.
All right. So number 3, I'm gonna go with Arby's. People crap on Arby's too much. Give me the beef and cheddar. Yeah, see, Andrew's
Man,
already.
I didn't know there was crapping on Arby's.
I'm so
Andrew's
out
doing it?
on Arby's. That is disgusting.
Really?
Yeah.
Arby's got some meat.
That's order $60 worth
do
of
got the meat.
chicken.
Slimy meat. Come on, I'm not in on that.
No, you don't
No.
like it?
Roast beef.
I actually, I'll be honest with you, I've never had an Arby's.
You don't want it.
Back in the day, the beef and cheddars were good when I
like
used to
beef
eat
and
that
cheddar.
stuff.
I love a roast beef. Knicks.
Hell yeah. Number 2, I'm going with Shake Shack. Love their burgers.
There you go.
And then number 1, I love me the Kavas. Kavas is the spot. Mediterranean fast food. I love
Where's
that?
that?
There's
in
one
Philly?
on Chestnut, right across from Cafe L'Aquila.
Grand Cafe, really?
Yeah, there's one right.
What's it called?
Kava. So think
Kava.
of Chipotle, but with Mediterranean food.
Oh, okay.
And then they have one in Morristown by me. So that's my go-to spot, especially
get out.
during the week. So
What,
those are
the
my 3.
hummus?
I do a little hummus. I do
Yeah.
like the falafel,
Okay.
the lamb. Love me some braised lamb.
All right.
Some good stuff. That's my 3.
Gyro?
I love. Oh yeah, that's like
Yeah.
that's like a weekend thing. I
Really?
try to eat as healthy as I
No,
possibly can. Cause
I feel you. I'm
I love the gyro though.
not a big fan of gyro.
Okay.
Never
I get
you
you.
know what it is? The sauce, the white sauce.
With tzatziki, I
I
get
can't
you.
do that stuff.
I
You
get
a
you.
big hummus guy?
Yeah, not really. I mean, once in a
Surprise,
while.
surprise.
Yeah, once in a while.
Jules is our hummus plug. Here.
Yeah, I know she loves. She's our hummus source.
Nice.
All right, what do you got?
Number 1, I go Popeyes.
Popeyes.
Yeah, man. Come on,
Popeyes.
they got the best sides. Their mashed potatoes,
Oh,
their
yeah.
coleslaw, their fries.
All right.
I go Chick-fil-A number 2. And number 3, I take some heat for this one probably. I don't know. It's bougie hipster fast food. Chipotle.
Yeah,
if I want a
well,
salad.
he just gave you kava.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
was
not a
really-
salad or
yeah,
something.
mine was
It's
really
one and the
good.
same.
Yeah.
You know.
I just think their quality's gone downhill.
It has. It
past
is
couple
more
years, which is
fast
disappointing.
food now than it's ever
Yeah,
been.
I like Chipotle because again, the healthy, especially during the week when you're on a rush. But their quality's just gone downhill.
Yeah.
All right. Let us go to the back of the day moment. Then we go to TV Todd. Our back of the day moment. All right, Sixers Knicks. We brought this up. Look at this picture. This is awesome. This is from 1989. Now, the Sixers lost. Our back in the day moment brought to you by Rite Aid. Yes, Rite Aid. Go to your neighborhood pharmacy, Rite Aid, riteaid.com. You see that? That's unbelievable. It's Charles. And those bastards have the brooms. The bastard Knicks. That's a Patrick Ewing, Johnny Newman. Trying to think about who on that team. They swept that, and that was here. That was 1989
on the
Spectrum floor. That's correct.
That pisses me off.
The Spectrum floor. Yeah, I wanted you to see that so much we can rile up the hate.
Can we send us to Nick Nurse?
Yes.
Nick Nurse showing this in the locker room.
Your back in the day moment. All right, overtime begins because we can never get out here to Friday. All right, and joining us now to give us what to watch after Game 1, Sixers-Knicks. And we got date night. Of course, the great TV Todd. Todd.
Oh, look at that shirt. Yeah, Todd.
That's it. That's how we bring it every week.
He loves his Flyers. Loves it. He loves his Flyers. Loves the Flyers. What happened to Todd's opening? Do we have his opening?
We have a logo. I'm trying to find it. I put it in here.
Yeah, I love the Todd logo.
I'm looking for it.
All right.
Hey, well, he looks for that. I got Legs is picking the Knicks.
Yes.
Just Legs also picked the Warriors, who got smoked by the Kings.
And I picked the Kings in that game.
I was on the Kings.
There we go.
Yeah. All right. You got the Todd? You have the Todd? Show it to him.
You see it right there?
No.
Oh.
You got to publish it.
Oh, never mind. There we go. Sorry, my bad.
Todd.
Look at that.
Look at that TV. That's awesome. Todd. TV
That's
Todd.
solid. Although I need a song. Like, I love the Baldi song. I keep singing it all day
Yeah, we're
long
working
in my
on
head.
something.
Yeah, we're going to do
on
something like we're changing the channel. Like you can see like movies. Act like a man. Right? Like then it goes into like, I can't handle the truth. Right? Like, and we can do it like that with the TV kind of going. Like
Fantastic.
changing the channels. All right, buddy. First of all, Sixers. Are you Sixered up?
I'm Sixered up. I'm coming in. I'm already set to come into Philly for Game 4.
Oh, good. All right, you coming over?
Yeah, I'm coming over.
All right, good. We'll love to see you. Todd is in what would you call it? Not upstate PA, but where is it?
Upstate PA. I love that. Never even heard that before. It's great. Central Pennsylvania.
All right. Yeah.
I live
He's
live
in
like
Amish
2
country.
miles from Hershey Park.
Yeah. How far from Amish country?
40 minutes from Amish country. I mean, that's
why you
know,
developed
that's
the
how-
Amish Mafia.
I was gonna say, you know where I spent a lot of my years, my shows that I filmed.
He was the Amish Mafia man.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Good stuff.
All right. What do we got? What do we got for us? I know I'm excited to hear some things. In fact, VG watched the movie that you recommended.
Yeah, did date night last night. No sports games on, so I did that. It's Your Lucky Day last night. Good stuff.
What'd
Yeah,
you
we
think?
enjoyed it. Yeah, it was good. There's a couple moments where, I had to suspend disbelief, but overall, it was a good thriller with a lot of twists. I liked it. We enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame that Angus passed away. I mean,
yeah.
what a great talent. I mean, that was the sad part for me watching it.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting was her character turns on a dime though. Like the pregnant woman, like her I don't want to give anything away, but it just to talk about it was interesting because the only thing I was like, that's pretty quick that she turns, like she buys in quickly. She's very against the idea and then she turns. So that was my one little mark.
Spoiler alert.
Red mark.
Well, listen, money will make you set aside lots of morality. That's the theme of the movie.
Well, that's the key to the movie, which is fantastic. Great watch. People should watch it. What do you got?
Well, I got 3. It was so much content, cuz I got 3 series and 3 movies. I'm going to throw at you quickly. The first series I have to plug is Manhunt on Apple TV.
So that's about the serial kill, these agents that get into the mind of the serial killers, right?
No, that's Mindhunter. That's Mindhunter. This is and that's on Netflix. This is called Manhunt on Apple TV. It's my daughter's favorite series right now. It is a 7-part series based on a book, but it is basically the story of the hunt for John Wilkes Booth in the aftermath of the Abraham Lincoln assassination.
Wow, that sounds interesting. I'm in on that.
People are going crazy over this series, and the finale, I believe, is just dropped today or tonight. 7 parts, Apple TV. Again, based on a book with all this great evidentiary history of John Wilkes Booth and the hunt for him after the assassination. So people are loving it. I think you should. That's a great one for your audience.
Yeah, I like
The
that.
other one I want to throw out there is, have you heard of a show called American Rust?
No, I haven't.
Okay. There's a reason why you haven't, and I'm glad to talk to your audience about this. So this is a show that was originally on Showtime. It was 1 season on Showtime, stars Jeff Daniels. He's great and everything. He plays a police chief in Southwest Pennsylvania, and he gets involved with this woman, and the son of the woman he loves is accused of murder. Great series, really good series. Maura Tierney's in it, really good. Showtime dropped it, and Freevee picked it up, and now Freevee is showing it with the new season. And I'm telling you, it's a great show. So if you like these detective kind of series, Jeff Daniels, he's great and everything.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's a really good one. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend
American Rust. I like
American Rust. The third series I want to recommend, then we'll get to the movies, which I really want to talk about. Everybody's going crazy over Fallout. Do you know what that is? Fallout?
No.
VG does. So,
Just had a whole discussion at the pub yesterday. People telling me I got to watch it.
So good.
Yeah, I think it's the #1 show on Prime right now, but it's, the success of HBO's Last of Us, which was the series based on a video game, on the game Last of Us, sparked this whole movement in Hollywood to take gaming IP. And I see what he's doing with his facial.
It's a little post-apocalyptic gaming idea.
That's it. So Fallout is a game, actually one of the most popular games ever about these luxury Fallout shelters. And Walter Goggins, who is awesome and everything, stars in it. But people really do like this show. I'm kind of in the Cuz camp. You're going to have to really impress me when you take a game and you turn it into a show. Like Last of Us did a great job, but it's hard to thread that needle. People do like it, though.
Yeah, I refuse to watch that.
Hey, Tyler, let me ask you, have you checked out Baby Reindeer at all?
It's so funny, VG, you say that, because I've been watching the reaction to it. It's like a stalker series, right? Like this woman who's stalking. And it's getting such great reviews on Netflix that I just added it to my queue to watch it this weekend.
I started episode 1 last night. I thought it was great. The dialogue's really fresh and interesting. The cinematography's really cool. I enjoyed the first episode a lot.
Great.
Stalkers.
I'm going to watch that. Yeah, I know. It sounds very misery-like.
Yeah,
Stephen
creepy.
King misery-like.
Yeah. I'm dying for the movies. What do we got?
So three movies. I love that we live in this day and age now where, if you miss something in the theaters, like in 2 weeks, it's on demand or streaming. So three movies I watched I want to talk about. The first one is a great example of why your audience should never listen to critics in terms of telling you not to watch a movie or not to go see a movie. I never listen to them. If there's something I'm interested in, I watch it. And the Bob Marley movie, One Love, is now streaming, was in theaters for a while, and I watched it the other night. My wife and I watched it. I loved it. The thing that's great about it is, I thought it was going to be a little cheesy, a little bit hokey. It's produced by the Marley family, Ziggy Marley, Rita Marley, and Brad Pitt actually is one of the producers. And they have all the real music. But here's the thing that makes it really good. It's set in a certain time period in Bob Marley's life, which is the early 70s when there was political unrest in Jamaica. And he starts recording the Exodus record, takes it on the road in the European markets, and then is asked to come back to Jamaica to do a peace concert to get the fighting factions to unite after even an assassination attempt on Bob Marley's life. So I thought they threaded that really, really well. They do some backstory flashbacks of his life, but I thought it was really, really good. And I was ready to go in to rip it apart. The guy who played Bob Marley was amazing. Good acting. The music just booms. I mean, I really.
That sounds good. You sold me.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, one of my favorite documentaries of all time is Marley. It's like a 3-hour documentary about his life, which is one of the best documentaries I've seen in the music space, and that streams for free. Also on, I don't know if it's MGM or Freebie or one of those stations. So yeah, One Love, I really recommend it. It's a great film. The second one is Driveway Dolls. Have you heard of that?
No.
Driveway Dolls?
Mm-mm.
All right. So this is great. So if you're a Coen Brothers fan, which I know you have to be, we all are, right? This film is done by Ethan Coen, and it has shades to me of Fargo, Big Lebowski, Raising Arizona. It starts out in Philadelphia in 1999. And it's this story of these two girls who sign up to do a driveway, which is you agree to drive a car from one location to the other, and you're paid for it. And there's a sort of mistaken identity. They get the wrong car. There's some great cameos. It's got all that quick Fargo dialogue. I will tell your audience, or Raising Arizona dialogue, I will tell your audience it's a hard R. So, if you're missing the hard R's, this is one to check out. But to Coen, it's a half a Coen Brothers film,
right? I'm in on that.
Yeah.
It sounds great.
Because it's definitely your film. You're definitely gonna love it. The characters, the dialogue, the quirkiness of it all, you'll really dig it. So
this is the hard R's.
I know. Man. Well, we don't get those anymore, right?
I'm with you. You're preaching to the choir.
Yeah, we grew up with those. I mean, it's awesome. Yeah. All right, one more I'll hit you with, and then I'll let you guys get back to talking how the Sixers are going to win this series. Talk to Me. I always throw out horror. I love
I saw
horror,
this in the movies.
Right? Oh, you did? Awesome.
Yeah, phenomenal.
It's really one of the best horror films I've seen in a long time, and I love horror so much. So this is an Australian film, and cuz I'm going to hit you with some details you love. It was made for $4.5 million, and you know what I talk to you about all the time.
Oh my God, you got to be kidding me!
$4.5 million. It has so far grossed about $100 million.
It's got some demons in it.
Really?
It's a little spiritual. Yeah.
It's got demons. I told him I'm afraid of demons. Demons freak me out. I don't mess with demons.
This one is freaky because the basic premise of it is these kids get addicted to this thing that becomes a party game where they have this like mysterious hand. And if they hold on to the hand, they'll see someone who passed away. And then if they say, "Let me in," the demon gets to possess them. And these kids become addicted to playing it at party games, like teenagers, like the Ouija board kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it gets really good. And I know there's a sequel in the works. So
it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool, man. You're coming strong as always. TV time every Friday. You're the best. You're the best, buddy. We need a call. All right. Olive oil waits. All right.
Give me a shout, man.
All right, buddy. I'll see the great TV Todd checking in. I love it. Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
All right. Final thoughts as we look. What do you think about Saturday night?
I feel great.
You feel good?
I feel like we're gonna take game one here. Joel's gonna have a big game, and we're gonna have those celebrity Knicks fans crying all the way out of MSG. I'm feeling good about this one.
All right, Andrew.
I'm feeling good, man.
All right.
I can't wait. I'm going to be there in the city.
Yeah.
I need you to troll those New Yorkers.
Trust me, I am going to be trolling.
I can't imagine watching a game out in a pub in New York. It sounds horrific. So I pray for you, Andrew.
Thank you. I might need it, so thank you.
What do you got?
I mean, I think he looked phenomenal in the fourth quarter. He put up 25 and 15 against the second best defense in the NBA. I mean, this is what people are saying.
And
he looks
his
banged
guards. And his guards had trouble with entry passes. Like I don't get it. Like I don't know. He may be, his knee may be bothering him. I don't know. I think it's wind, and we know Joe, right? Like we see him when he's off for a few days and he doesn't play. He's not in a rhythm. he gets lethargic, man.
And he hates
Like,
that zone. He just gets with his head.
Yes. He said after the game, he had trouble getting to spots.
Yeah.
And then Maxey had trouble getting the ball. The offense was clunked out. They started to get panicked a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was. I think he's fine. I think he plays well. I think Maxey has a big game in game 1 Saturday night.
I'm with you. And before we get out of here, I think we have to give it a shout out. Jalen Hurts donated $200,000 to give air conditioning to 10 Philly schools.
It's amazing.
I saw that. That was awesome.
Yeah, I saw that. Great job, Jalen. That's a good yo.
That's why we love him.
For Jalen. Great job, man. That's beautiful. That's going to do it for us. Stay tuned. All PHLY all day, right? Hanging out. All the stuff you love. Sixers, Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, Union, right here, allphly.com. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. I got to thank Julia, our executive producer, who's fantastic.
Yeah,
doesn't get more Phillies love than Julia and Andrew. So, guys, we love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Go Sixers! See you Monday!
Vamos.
We all silly like the mayor.